Okay, so I hope it will start. Yeah. So the recap is simple. We last time talked about what are what are the ways of gaining knowledge is what we talked about one of the topics earlier, right? That there is a pratyaksha praman, right? Direct perception. If I see something, I will believe it. That is one way to gain knowledge. The second way to gain knowledge is that I will speculate. I will think that, oh, it may be like this, maybe like that. That is another way. And the third way is that learning from an authority. Okay. Now, out of the three, we compared, contrasted, and came to the conclusion that by seeing, we cannot get absolute knowledge. A lot of things like mirage, so many other things, right? The railway tracks joining each other, that is not reality. That doesn't happen. Now, coming to the Anuman Praman, we talked about so many theories that people came up with, but they were flawed. Because with your mind, you cannot perceive everything. Your understanding is not absolute. So, the final way is to actually get it from an authority, right? Your mother teaching you when you were a child, right? Or your, how to wear sleepers. That was an example we took, right? We didn't knew what is the right way to wear sleepers. And as a child, we couldn't have figured it out, but we figured it out because our mother told us, see, wear the left sleeper in the left leg and the right sleeper in the right leg. And that's how we learned. And later we realized that is the right way to do it, right? So that is what, and even our teachers, anybody anything that we learned is actually by hearing from others, from an authority who knew how to use spoon, for example, or how to write letters, the numbers, how the addition works. Everything we learned through an authority. So similarly, that is the absolute way of gaining the knowledge. And in that sense, the Vedic knowledge is it follows the similar path, right? Hi, Atikesh. Okay. So Vedic knowledge follows the similar path. It actually follows through it's called Shabda Praman. That is coming through a disciplic succession, right? A guru teaches a disciple, and when the disciple is learned enough, he teaches his disciple, and that is how the knowledge passes from one guru to the disciple to their disciple, right? And that is called a parampara or a sampradaya. And we learned that spirituality is about actually not asking your grandmother or grandfather and learning whatever they taught, but it is as scientific as the science itself. And to learn about it, you have to spend serious effort. You have to do some serious effort, and then only you can learn about it, right? And that was and we talked about what are the different sampradayas. They are great acharyas in those sampradayas, and what is the method that of learning is, right? You go to a sampradaya, you read their books recommended by them, and you learn it from their authority, what the authority or the acharyas or the guru teaches you, and you follow them, right? And you learn, and you get doubt, and you ask questions, and that is how you learn, right? And that is a Vedic way of learning. So far we talked this much, right? I hope there are no questions. Anybody has any questions so far? Okay. Atikesh, are you able to follow things?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know if you have any doubt. I mean, just feel free to interrupt any point of time.
Okay.
So today we are going to talk about how to put full stop to our sufferings, right? And that is a question I was just discussing. With RTG, that we should ask that question, right? Why am I suffering? Even if we know nothing, but you will not be able to find any person who can say that no, I'm absolutely happy, right? People who are a CEO or a millionaire, billionaire, they will have some or the other distress in their life, right? So how to get out of that? What is the lasting solution? Is there any, or there is none? And scriptures answer this question. Okay, so let us go further, and feel free to stop me at any point, as we have been doing. It is better done in a more interactive way, right? So feel free to question if you have doubt, if you don't agree with me at any point. I'll be happy to clarify, right? All right, so yeah, these are the topics pretty much we are going to talk about. Okay, somebody is about to join. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So okay. Hi, Shrivaliji. I hope. Hello. So yeah, we are just starting, and we are going to talk about what are the problems in the life. Okay, and what is there any solution for the problems in life, or is it like really a myth? So what is the real problem in life? Like let's just try to first understand that. What is the problem? Like, if you ask a boy, like, is there any problem in your life? Right? If I ask you, Atikesh, like, is there any problem in your life? What will you answer?
Just studies.
Okay, studies. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the kind of problems, right? Studies like failed in exam. I don't have a girlfriend. I'm not handsome. I don't have money. No job, no physique, family problems, and these are the kind of things that anybody will say, right? Pretty much, some or the other problem. Correct. So, but if you think deeply, are they the real problems? Okay. Now, what does it mean? I mean, why am I saying it is not a real problem? It is a real problem. But yes, if you don't have a girlfriend, you will find one. If not today, maybe tomorrow, right? If you have failed in this exam, you will pass maybe in the next time, right? If you don't have a physique, go do the gym, right? It's okay. I mean, like, these are not real problems because they are not absolute, right? I mean, they just go away with time. So what is an absolute problem? Let's talk about some problems which are really real. Okay, bigger than them. Now, what is the definition of a problem? Okay. Now, this is what I'm proposing, and feel free to contradict me. Right? That the problem is a real problem if it is really common to all. Okay, and nobody wants it, and nobody can avoid it. Okay, something which you don't want and nobody wants, really. None of us want that problem, but we are not able to avoid it. For example, any example you can think of in this category?
Death.
Sorry.
Death of a
Okay. Yeah.
loved one, death of somebody, losing somebody who's close to you.
Yeah.
Nobody wants it. Everybody suffers from it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I thought the answer will come out to be COVID, right?
COVID. Yes, I do feel the same.
Yes,
Right? Why not? I mean, COVID also falls into this category. It's
absolutely.
common to all of us. We don't want it, and we cannot avoid it, right?
Well, I went a bit deeper, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, but essentially, yeah, you're right. That is one such problem, and but there are a couple of other problems like this, right? Let's see. Let's try to find out what is the real problem of life. And scriptures say that there are some four such problems which nobody can avoid it. Okay. The first one they call is birth. Now, oh, this sounds controversial, right? Birth is something we celebrate birthdays, and why is it a problem? We'll talk about it, right? The second one is old age, and old age, of course, it's simple. Nobody wants an old age, right? And you cannot avoid it. You are going to get old no matter what, and it's common to all. So it's a real problem. We know that, right? Disease, I mean, COVID included, right? The diseases are real problem. Nobody wants that, and nobody can avoid it. So diseases are a real problem. Okay. And the last one is death, of course. So, and death is one such problem. I mean, we'll all agree, right? Nobody wants it, nobody can avoid it. These are real problems. So, basically, for people who just joined, we are talking about problems. What are the real problems in life? And is there any solution to those problems, right? So, yeah, these are the four things which are obvious: birth, old age, disease, and death. No question, I believe, right? If anybody feels that, no, come on. Death is not a problem to me. I'm a brave one, but no matter how brave you are, right? Nobody wants to die for sure, but nobody can avoid it too. Right? There have been so many great people, or like whatever demons in the past, for example, right? Rama and Hiranyakashipu, they all felt that no, we'll be able to conquer it, but nobody could do that. So birth is a controversial one, right? Anybody can think why birth is a problem?
Yeah.
Is
Brings
So
birth
in
a
a
problem?
whole set of problems for the child, for the parent. It can be a problem because it's a whole significance of the child. You don't know, uncertainty. It attaches uncertainty. It attaches itself to the unknown, essentially, which creates problems.
Okay, got it. Okay, so it's a
That's
fear
just my
that
view.
parents. Yeah. Okay, that could be, but that's a problem. I mean, what you're saying is more for the parent, right? What about the child? Yeah, Artijit, you have any question and any thoughts?
yeah. So regarding birth, what we have learned so far. So basically, we are trapped in this cycle of rebirth. So because of the birth, we have to go through the whole cycle of life,
Yeah. Okay.
and then
Okay.
again. So basically, that's how. I mean, one of the things that
Okay.
I can think of.
Okay. Yeah. So I think for people who just joined, like Vipinji, I'm just to repeat, because people just joined, is like, we are talking about the problems in life and is there a real solution to it? Okay. So yeah, but that's one way to look at it. But forget about reincarnation, forget about rebirth. Even then, it's a problem. Okay. Let me tell you why. Okay. So, but by the way, in Bhagavad Gita, this is what it says. Bhagavad Gita, one of the verses say, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. I mean, it says that a person who actually sees birth, death, old age, and disease as real problem is the only person who is in knowledge. Okay. But why? Okay. So let's see. Let's talk about birth, for example. Okay. So for 9 long months, just imagine you actually are on the, like, heads up and heads down and legs up, in that position, and in a cramped situation with all the gastric juices around you, and if your mother eats something which is not very good, I mean something very spicy or something, you suffer, right? So just imagine that kind of a dark room where you are in a cramped situation with gastric juice and all that, right? And we all understand, right? The science understand right now that the child is alive at that time also, right? It's not dead, it just that doesn't come to life after just it's born. So you have to be there for months and months. Just that we don't remember it, but it doesn't matter, right? I mean, uh, but you still suffer, and there is some suffering which is a real suffering. Forget about rebirth or anything of that sort. In fact, our scriptures also talk about it. Modern science will also accept there is no doubt that there is a suffering when you are born, before you are born, right? We celebrate our birthdays with as if something great happened, but in reality we have suffered around that time, before we were born, right? Yeah. In fact, I do have a nice video on this. I'll probably maybe share it later. But it talks about like what kind of sufferings the child really goes through before it's born, right? So okay, yeah, so many things, right? Congested womb and things like that. Of course, a child may be passing stool and things, and in the same packet, and it has to just bear all of that pain. Okay. The second one is old age. I mean, that's obvious, right? I mean, you are so beautiful, and I mean, and then suddenly all of it goes away. There was an actress called Marilyn Monroe. I mean, she did a suicide when she realized that there were some gray hairs, and then she couldn't bear it. She thought she's going to get old, and she did a suicide. Somewhere I read this, right? So old age is definitely, nobody wants it, but you cannot avoid it. All of us are going to get old, right? And yeah, such great people, whatever, right? This is what old age does to us, but we want to stay young forever, but nobody can be like that, right? So in fact, the cosmetic industry, like, is thriving just because of just that fear of old age. Just because you are getting some wrinkles, you'll try whatever it is, right? Fair and Lovely, or Glow and Lovely, whatever, I don't know what it's called now. So something like that, right? I mean, so you try all sort of creams, everything, whatever you can, just because you don't want to get old. So this is the reality, right? We all are worried about it. And of course, I mean, the disease, we all know, COVID, everybody has seen. Nobody wants to to get a disease, but yeah, are we able to avoid it? We'll see, right? But everybody gets some or the other diseases for sure, right? And we'll talk about, like, what do we do about these things? We all want to remain healthy, but we all get some or the other diseases. And the last one, but not the least, is the death, right? And this is what Garud Puran talks about it, by the way. It says that, like, at the hour of death, when it approaches, some or the other disease comes up. Okay, we have seen people, like, getting some kind of disease, and that's what may be the cause of the death. It says that the organs grow weak and trouble starts showing up, and it's as if, like, millions of scorpions are biting a person. Okay, and there is like a rattling kind of a sensation in the mouth, and a lot of other things that it describes, Garud Puran. So bottom line is that, like, it's not of course it's not a pleasant experience, death, right? Maybe the fear is not wrong, that yes, that there is going to be a death and there's going to be problems, and we all have to go through it, right? There is no rocket science about it, right? Srimad Bhagavatam describes that, oh, the person's eyes bulge out, and it becomes congested, and you are having difficulty in breathing, and you die, right? And that's how it happens in a pathetic condition. So nothing amazing about it. We have must have seen some or the other person die. We know it's not a pleasant thing. Does it make sense whatever I'm discussing right now? Okay. And in fact, this is not all. This is not the only problem. There are three other types of miseries which exist. Okay. So these are the four things called birth, old age, disease, and death that we all have to face. And then there are three types of miseries. Okay. Like miseries which are because of your own mind and body, and because of different living entities, and because of natural disaster. And these are another three type of things which actually create problems for us, right? I mean, with your mind and body, you get headache, stress, depression, things like that, right? With your other living entities, you get snake bite, like insect bite. It could be anything, right? A viral fever, COVID, things like that. And because of natural disasters, so many things happen, right? There's a drought, tsunami, tornado, floods, and things like that. So these are called kleshas in Sanskrit. Okay, and they are called adhyatmic klesha, adhibhautik klesha, and adhidevic klesha. Okay, you must be wondering if this session is about only scaring you. Not really. We'll talk about solutions also, but we have to first understand the problems, and then only we can reach the solutions, right? So adhyatmic klesh means a miseries which is because of our own mind and body. Okay, and adhibhautik is about which is because of the other living entities, and adhidevic is because of the natural disaster, right? So the first thing, of course, is that we actually have a lot of miseries because of our mind and body, right? I mean, think about the stress, think about depression, our body giving problems, right? Your hand is paining. If I'm the way I'm sitting right now, if I keep sitting like this for 4 or 5 hours, my back will start paining and things like that, right? So our own body, our own mind, it keeps on giving us trouble, right? People do suicide and things like that, right? I mean, 1 out of 3 Americans, they say, actually has been to a psychiatrist. That's the situation. So we all roughly suffer from this adhyatmic klesha, and this is a real problem, right? No great thing to talk about it. And then there's a adhibhautik klesha, which means like, okay, there are so many other things, right? I mean, you have terrorists, there you have insects, you have some person, a thief or somebody just coming and giving trouble. If nothing, it could be your boss, it could be your husband, wife, children, whatever, right? Some or the other person keep on troubling us, and we have all experienced that, right?
Any fears do we have? Suffering.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Ji. I
Can you
disturbed you.
please go
Nothing
ahead?
else.
Okay, yeah, yes, so yeah, right. I mean, so correct. They keep on creating troubles, and the last one is called Adhidevic Klesh, which is so many things, right? Global warming is there, tsunami, tornadoes, and what all, right? Droughts and floods and things like that, right? So many things which keep on just, we don't want any of this, and we cannot avoid them, all of these problems, right? So these are the kind of problems that we sort of all go through, right? And this is real, and this is common to all. Okay. Now coming to solutions, there are two types of solutions that we see. Okay, and this is not to bash the science or anything, but just see the reality. Just think about it with a cool mind, right? I mean, no matter how much of advancement we have seen with so much of technology at our disposal, right? All we do is that we actually try to keep on getting newer and newer diseases. I mean, just COVID was not there a few years back. Nobody knows how it came, but somehow it came, right, out of nowhere. And then there is Zika virus and so many other type of viruses we keep on hearing about. Somewhere a statistics I was here reading is like, there are 40,000 types of diseases, and out of which something like 14,000, only 14,000 diseases have a cure. Okay, and there are so many other diseases for which there is no cure, pretty much, like including the COVID, our all-time favorite, right? We don't know if there's any cure. We don't know if the vaccines will really work and things like that. So no matter how much we are advanced right now, we keep on suffering. I mean, knows who's this person? Anybody?
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, well-known boxer, right? He used to say that, like, I fly like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. I mean, very famous one. knows how he died. I mean, like this is how he used to look like in his old age. Okay, see that person on the shaking, the hand which is shaking, right? He died suffering from the Parkinson disease, where his entire body used to shake. He could not even lift a cup of coffee. Just think about the way he used to punch and things like that, right? That was the situation that he got into. So it's there's like, no matter how much advanced we get into science, right? Michael Schumacher, I don't know if you have read about his story, but he was actually in a coma for 6 years or so, roughly. And such famous personalities, I mean, so the point is, like, no matter how we are advanced in science and technology, we are not able to find the solutions. And the point, there is something missing here, right? I mean, there is a suffering for sure. Let's first understand that we are all suffering, because that is one question. Because in the beginning I was talking to RTG, and the question that and like, what we were discussing is that what I said is, like, the one question that we should definitely ask is that why are we suffering? But to ask that question, we have to first realize that we are suffering. Okay. And if you're most of us have actually assumed that this is how the life is. I mean, it cannot be anything better than that, right? I mean, you're supposed to be like that. You're supposed to suffer like this, and that's what we have assumed, right? But it is not really like that. I mean, there has to be a solution, right? That question should be asked. I mean, an intelligent person should ask the question. In fact, scriptures say that you have got the human body, so you have got it for asking this question: why am I suffering? What is the purpose? And that is what scripture says. There is a book called Vedanta Sutra. Okay, and the first verse of that book says Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Okay, and it means therefore. Athato means therefore, let's inquire. Okay, and why the first line of the book says therefore? I mean, have you ever seen a book which starts with therefore? Right. Right, we don't see the book which starts with the first word called therefore. And the reason why it says is because you are a human, because you got this human body and you are able to read this book. Therefore, let's inquire. Okay, because animals don't ask this question, they keep on suffering, but we are humans, so we should ask this question: why is there so much of suffering? Right, that question should be asked. Okay, and yeah, and the reason why we are talking about this today is because we talked about Shabda Praman, and we'll go deeper, we'll understand scriptures. But this is the first question that should be asked in the scriptures, right? Before getting into any scriptures, right? So all of these so great personalities suffer, right? And this is these things don't solve the problems, right? I mean, if you get a headache, okay, just take a painkiller, some medicine, this and that. This is how we do the things, right? It's just a stopgap solution that we keep on doing, right? This person is called Martin Luther King Jr. And what he said is that now we are able to fly in the sky like a bird and go to the depth of the sea like with a submarine, right? Like a fish. But what we are not able to do is, like, because we are not even able to walk in the land. Okay, because of the problems that we ourselves created, because of the pollution and the traffic, we are not even able to walk in the land, like, which is a normal mode of transport for us. So that is what the situation is right now. Okay, and this I don't know if you have ever seen that, but if you go from I think San Francisco to Las Vegas, you see this kind of a mountain. Okay, a mountain created out of tires only, because they didn't knew what to do. I mean, there are so many tires that we built, but we cannot do anything about it. You cannot burn it. You cannot. I don't know what to do. Bury it and things like that. So they just left it on the streets, and it became like a mountain of 6 million tires. So this is the situation, like, that we don't even know the solution to the problems that we continue to create. And last time we were talking about, right, with the Anuman Praman, with the Pratyaksh Praman, if you try to solve the problems, then this is the situation that you land in, pretty much. Okay. Any questions, any thoughts so far? Or is it making sense or not at all? Okay. Should I take thumbs up, thumbs down? And yeah, when they teach my child, actually,
So far,
yeah,
so
this
good.
is what the
All good.
teacher asks. All good. Okay. Yeah, that's what they ask. Sure.
Am I
All
audible,
right. So,
Niranji?
sorry.
Niranji, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, all right.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's go ahead. Yeah. this is what science has done. By as I said, right? I mean, it's not supposed to bash the science or anything, but this is where we are right now. This is the situation. Okay, that the only great thing that we have done is invented bombs and missiles and AK-47 and things like that, right? Which we are ourselves struggling with, and people threatening each other to kill and destroy countries and things like that. That we have done pretty well. But if it is about like saving lives and really doing things, we know where we are, right? I mean, and we think that that is obvious. This is where we are supposed to be. We cannot get anything better than that. And these are the kind of temporary solution that you get, right? That, oh, you have a white hair, then use hair dye. If you have wrinkles, then use facelift. For diseases, use painkillers and things like that, right? If you have breathlessness, then use oxygen tubes. That also you get short of these days. And these are the kind of solutions that we talk about, right? And these are all temporary stopgap solutions. They don't give you foolproof, like, it's not a foolproof thing, right? So this is how it looks like. I mean, like with these temporary solutions, what it's going to be is like, just look at that person in the horse. He looks very handsome, and girls would definitely want to be after him and things like that. But for not for long, right? I mean, but the actual thing will come out eventually. So this is the world that we are living in. That, okay, you use hair dye, you do something or the other, and you somehow survive, but not for long. Yeah, you're going to. The truth is going to come out, because those problems are real. You're going to die. You're going to get diseases. You're going to get old, and yeah. And with a patch-up solution, this is what happens. You look like a tiger, but in reality, you're an ugly cat. That's what it is, right? I mean, we all like to put pictures in the Facebook. I mean, this is not a theory, okay? And when people do it, like the husband and wife will come together, they'll smile and take a picture, and that's it. And then they'll go back to their fighting, whatever they were doing, right? I mean, everybody will just cook or go to restaurant just so that they can take some nice pictures and post it on the Facebook. Whether you went, wherever you go, right? I mean, just think about how the people behave. They just are bothered about taking pictures and selfies and things like that, so that they can post it in the Facebook. That's the only purpose why you go out. So pretty much this is the world we are living in. I mean, it's a very fake world, and with real problems. The problems are real. That's the only point I'm trying to make with these slides, right? Yeah, and science and technology, they cannot stop old age. They cannot stop the diseases, or they cannot stop the death, right? It's all patch up that can be done, but for these things, of course, there are no solutions, right? Yeah, and it cannot satisfy the soul. In fact, we talked about the concept of a soul, that we are not actually a material person, okay? We are actually a spiritual entity called soul, which is trapped in this material world. And this was something that we talked about in our first session itself, right? And we also talked about one thing, that the spirit soul, it does not mixes with the matter, right? It actually is separate from the matter, and it can never mix, like oil and water. And that's how the matter and spirit is, right? And think about a fish. If the fish, you take it out of the water and you actually give it all sort of luxuries, right? You give him internet, you give him some nice magazines, Filmfare magazines, and your money, and alcohol and a cigar and things like that, as you see in the picture. Do you think the fish is going to be happy? Of course not, right? So that is what is our situation. Okay, we are not in our natural condition. We are actually thinking that we are getting some kind of happiness, but that is not going to happen. That's not happening in reality, right? It is almost like chewing a bamboo. I mean, you have actually seen chewing sugar cane, from which a nice sugar comes out and you feel happy about it. But if you chew a bamboo, then what is going to come out is a blood from your mouth, right? And but you have an illusion that maybe no, there is going to be a sugar which will come out at one point. When we were all a small child, then we were told that, oh, once you grow up, once you become an engineer, then you'll be happy. Okay, fine, we became an engineer, and then we were told that no, okay, once you get married, then the happiness will come. And we thought, okay, let's get married, and we all got married like that. And then somebody said, no, your marriage is new, that's why you don't feel the happiness. It'll come, don't worry. After a few years, it'll come. And you wait for a few more years, but the happiness doesn't come. Then they say, no, you get a child. Once you have a child, then the happiness will be there. But then the child is small, we all know how it works. And then they said, no, when the child grows up, he gets married, then the happiness will be there for sure, right? And this is what the kind of things we have seen. And even after that, do you think the happiness will be there? So this is how we are running after happiness, but none of us actually get the real enjoyment. Even no matter what kind of enjoyment we try for, we don't get it. And scriptures say that the soul that we are, actually is never going to be happy in this world, because this is not the natural state for the soul. Okay, the last time we talked about, by the way, people who actually missed sessions till now, just to tell them, last time we talked about a place called spiritual world as per scriptures, which is called Vaikuntha. Okay, and the souls actually have fun there. I mean, a place, and we'll talk about it in future sessions. Wait for 1 or 2 more sessions and we'll talk about that in detail. So that spiritual world is a natural home. There's a place which is a natural to the soul, okay, where they are naturally happy. And that is like a fish being in the water. And that is the reason why we don't feel happiness here. Does it make sense? Is it controversial? Yes, Arti.
Yeah, so basically, like you gave the example of fish. So when fish is pulled out of water, so of course it's the threat to its survival.
Hmm.
So of course it won't enjoy luxuries.
Yeah.
Because for humans also, if it's a threat to our survival, we are ready to do anything.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
so I just wanted to ask here that of course animals, I sometimes I feel that animals and they are better than us because they don't have such luxuries to enjoy, because whatever
Okay.
they do for their survival only. That's the bare minimum
Yeah. Yeah.
that all humans beings should also pursue the same thing. But we don't, because we have so many distractions in life that we cannot uh, we cannot satisfy our souls, because there are so many distractions here
Hmm.
that our body can enjoy, but probably the soul is not enjoying, and we just are enjoying the bodily pleasure
Yeah. Yeah. That's
through
a good
these
line of thought.
distractions.
But yes,
So
yes, that's a
why
good line of thought.
so many distractions? I mean, had the life been simple, we would have been more closer to spirituality.
Yeah, but I'll tell you an extreme thought than that. I mean, it's a good line of thought, but there is an extreme thought than that. And the thought is that even animals are suffering. Okay, just think about a dog in the street, right? Are they not suffering? In the morning, in the cold morning, they're just looking for food. So is it not real that we all are suffering pretty much, no matter what? Right? Somebody is suffering less, somebody is suffering more. I mean, among us also, somebody can say that, oh, I suffer less. Maybe I have more money, this, that, whatever, X, Y, Z. But still, it's not going to give you suffering. These 7 things are going to actually make your life miserable, no matter what. Right? Adhyatmik, Adi, Bhautik, Adi, Devik, Flesh, and birth, old age, disease, and death. But I get your point. I mean, like, yes, I mean, in a simpler life, yes, you can actually be happier. Now, when you said one thing called our soul, there is nothing called our soul. It is about our body. That's all what exists. Okay, we are a soul and we have a body, right? And essentially, the reason why it is, and last time we talked about a model, right? Think about a model where a small girl wanted to enjoy, right? By enjoyment, I mean she wanted to have her own house and her own utensils, and she wanted to play like the mother. And she asked the mother, "Give me my own utensils, and I will cook and things like that." And the mother said, "Go enjoy, right? Have fun. These are the utensils." And she kept on cooking some fake things. She kept on cooking, and in the afternoon, when she felt hungry, she wanted to go back to the mother and ask her again, like, that I'm hungry. And the mother says, no, why don't you go and eat whatever you have cooked, right? But she's not going to get satisfaction out of the cooking that she's doing, because that cooking is not real. And that is the situation for us right now. Okay, we are suffering, and this is what God has done. Okay, God has sent us to this world so that we can pretty much we wanted to enjoy. We means we soul wanted to enjoy, and we were sent here, and we are trying to enjoy, but we are not able to get satisfaction. Does it make sense? If you want to know from where I'm quoting this, where it is coming from, I can tell the verse.
You had explained this in the first session,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I get it.
yeah, yeah.
But there
That
are
is
so
the
many
problem.
distractions I still feel.
I
Like just
agree. I totally agree. Yes, but
and
see, I'll tell you. I'll tell you one thing. I mean, artificially, you cannot actually avoid distractions. Okay. What I mean to say is that today, if you think that, okay, I do not want these things, I do not want a fan or an AC because it's a distraction, I do not want a car because it's a distraction, artificially, you will not be able to live them. Okay. It can only be left when your desires actually are purified, when your mind is calm. Okay. Then only it's possible. Otherwise, it's not possible. But spirituality teaches us how to do that. Okay. But it takes time and understanding to do it.
yeah,
Okay.
basically to limit your desires.
Yeah. Yes.
And
It's not about
should be
limiting desires.
there.
Limiting is not possible. What is possible is purifying the desires. Okay. As a soul, we actually are going to keep on doing desires. Now, what desire do you do? It all depends on that. If it is a wrong desire, you get into trouble. If it is a right desire, and in the future slide, I'll talk about it. Then you get
Okay.
some bliss. Okay, so it's about purifying the desires. Desireless is not a right state to be. It is not possible. Have you ever seen so many sadhus going into the for a Kumbh Mela? They do gather there and they're all smoking some sort of intoxication or the other, right? Or they're playing football among themselves. Have you ever seen that? Or some sadhus actually fighting among themselves because they want to take the first bath in the Kumbh Mela? Have you heard about such incidents? Okay, why does it happen? That person actually went to Himalaya to purify. I mean, like, to actually become desireless. He's not even wearing anything. But what is happening is that he's actually still suffering from the same thing, same desires in some or the other form. Anyways, that's a diversion, but just because you asked. So I'm just telling you that
Yeah, yeah, it
artificially,
makes sense.
yeah, artificially is not possible, right? We have to understand more. I mean, and hold on. I mean, like, I'll be able to explain it, maybe in a year or so. But okay, so the point is that we are suffering because we are in an unnatural state, and I'll explain that further. Okay, here's the story. Okay, so what happened is a boy, or sort of a youth, he actually fell into some valley. Okay, he was roaming around, he fell into a valley, and when he fell there, then he saw that, okay, there were some tribals, and he got worried. He said, oh, these tribals are going to kill me. But those people said, no, no, you are our king. This is 31st of December, and every year God sends us one person who will be make the king. So you are our king from now. So okay, he was happy. Okay, fine. They are making me a king. What's the problem? So they made him a king, and there was a lot of jewelry and this and that. All sort of things was there. So one day he asked, like, what happened? I mean, why I am the king on the 31st December? Was there a previous time also there was a king? So they said, yes, there is a king every year. I mean, like, so we give him, we get a person, we make him a king for a year, and then on the last day of the year, we leave him into some island. Okay, some Andaman Nicobar type of island where we just leave him and we come back. So okay, this person got the problem. He said, okay, fine. So there's a problem. So what he started thinking, and what he started doing is that every day he used to send some gold, some bricks, and some food to that island because he was a king, so he could do it. So he started doing something like that. So every day he used to send some small thing to that island. Okay, and this is how he passed his entire year. And at the end of the year, they threw him into that island. Now, what he did was, okay, he had all the bricks, he had some gold, he had some food. So he built a house and peacefully he lived there because he has a house to live. So he didn't got into a lot of troubles. Okay. And that is the reason why I'm telling you this story, is that this is how we should think about spirituality. Okay, that I know that we are all struggling. There is no one shot solution to the problem now, but what we can do is that every day we can spend some time, right, in the right direction in the spirituality, so that we are collecting it for our afterlife. Okay, we know that we are going to die, right? And we talked about, as a soul, we want to get out of this world, and this is not our natural position. All we want to get out, right? So what is the way to get out, right, and live happily in our natural state, is to actually collect every day small thing, like the EMI that we do monthly, right? That every month you put some small money in your account so that in the whatever, when you get old, you will have enough money. So this is how is the right direction of thinking about it, rather than thinking of a all or none kind of approach, because that is not possible. By practice you can do it, but not in the first day. Does it make sense? Was
Yeah,
that
yeah,
very clear?
absolutely. I mean, think you
Okay.
are moving towards a solution, so it's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. Good thought. Good place you're in. Yes, we should think about the solution, and there is no easy solution, but just to understand. And this was just a story. And yeah, the wise person, he actually understand that, oh, firm faith in God, foolish has no faith in God, right? A wise person lives according to God's law. A foolish person is like eat, drink, and be merry. Why he's foolish? I mean, yeah, even though he's merry for today, he'll have a party, he'll have a booze and things like that. Tomorrow morning, he'll have a headache, right? So this eat, drink, and
Sorry
merry
to
is.
interrupt that thought
Yeah, go
of
ahead.
yours, but
Sure.
isn't ignorance a bliss in its own way? Because if you're ignorant, isn't it like a child? When the child is ignorant, God forgives their sins because they did not know what was the right path. So, because they are ignorant, because they were completely hidden, they did not know. So when a person, like, because there is so much knowledge in this world, you can't know everything, right? There is so much good, there's so much bad, there's so much ugly, you can't know everything. Knowledge on its own is vast, just as the universe. So therefore we are going to make mistakes, we are going to make issues, right? We are going to do something wrong at some point or another, right? Each of us will make it. But when we do it from the point of the ignorant, unknowingly, without meaning to, without having the intent to harm somebody, right? So isn't in some incidences, I'm not saying every time, but at some point, isn't it better to be a fool?
I don't know. You tell me, right? I mean, if you actually you took an example of a child, right? Think about a
Yeah,
child who puts his hand in a fire. He's
yeah.
ignorant. He doesn't know it is a fire, right? Will the fire will not burn the child? Uh, and this is a simple example. Think about an example. Okay, I'll tell you a real example. If you actually Google, you'll figure out that Coca-Cola at one point they used to put cocaine into it because they thought, oh, it relaxes your mind, right? And that's what they thought. And they actually put cocaine, and it's there in the advertisement, some old advertisement, maybe 40 years back. Okay. Now, oh, is it a ignorance? Yes, they didn't knew that. Okay, that cocaine actually consuming it regularly is going to actually harm your body, right? That was not known. But was it the right thing to do? Maybe a lot of people got harmed by that also, right? And so many examples are there. By the way, you missed actually a couple of sessions. Maybe we talked about a lot of such examples where just by our speculation or by our thinking, we go in a direction. That direction may not be right, and nature is not forgiving. Okay, and the
Right.
laws are laws. I mean, if there is a law of gravity, you jump just by saying that, oh, I don't know there is a law of gravity. It doesn't matter, right? You're going to die whether you know about it or not. So we better know. I mean, Bhagavad Gita,
Right.
Krishna says, by the way, that uh, he says that, oh, you better know about the laws. I mean, there is something called as law of karma, and you have to know about it, because if you don't know about it, the repercussions that will come are actually very deep, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, you don't know that, oh, you're as a child, you just drink some alcohol and you think that, oh, I don't know about it. It doesn't matter, right? Whether you know about it or not, you're going to get the bad effects. Yes, Arpiji.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask that why does this happen that we don't get into the spirituality from early on? Like, I give you my example. This is my first session ever on spirituality, and so when you are,
The fourth session, by the way.
yeah, yeah,
I
I
think you
mean,
are.
yes, yes.
Yes, go ahead. Go
General
ahead.
terms, yes, full session, but first,
Yeah,
this
I
is
got
where
it.
I start. Basically. So why does this happen that after you cross 35, so I'll be touching 40 next year. So so why I have seen people when they live their life after, I think, 35 or something, or probably some people even after 50 they get into this.
Yeah,
But I've seen
yeah,
people getting into it.
yeah,
There are very few who actually do not. They are absolutely away from spirituality. But why does this happen when people live their life after that? They want to get into this. This has to be. I mean, from the childhood, this has to be, should be there. It should be part of our lives.
Yes, you're right. Actually,
But it's
that's
not
how it should be.
happening. I mean, I have seen
Yeah. I'll tell you what, like, this is how it used to
really.
be. This is how it used to be. I mean, in the Vedic times, they used to teach spirituality from the beginning. Okay, and then you know what is the difference between a matter and spirit. Then you know what is right and what is wrong. Something that we have lost right now. It is like a dead elephant. Okay, and by spirituality also people think that, oh, because they don't even know what is the right and what is wrong. Without having a right person, without actually associating with the right sampradaya, you cannot even figure out what is wrong and what is right in terms of spirituality. We think that just agarbatti, you just rotate it like that in front of some deity which is just kept in your kitchen in a corner. That is spirituality. Or just offering a coconut is like good enough, right? Or you just take Bhagavad Gita, wrap it around in a red cloth, and just hang it in the altar, and that is spirituality. Is it? I don't know, right? That's the point. I mean, is it a real spirituality? That is not at all the spirituality, right? Right. We don't even know what it is all about. It's about, actually, spirituality is about like finding the practical things of your life, how to live life powerfully, and live a life that you love. Okay, and to do that, you have to definitely early on, in the early age only, you have to understand. Right? There's a person called Bhakt Prahlad. I mean, Prahlad. Have you heard? Right. So Prahlad says in Srimad Bhagavatam, seventh book of Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, Kaumara Machare Pragyo Dharman Bhagavatanita Niha. He says that, oh, uh, Kaumara Machare Pragyo, he says that, okay, from the early age of childhood, I mean, he's actually a 5-year-old boy, and he's teaching it to his friends. And he says that, okay, from the early age only, you have to actually understand this science. If you don't understand it from the early age, it's not going to work. See, if when you are old, when your eyes, you are not able to see something, your mind is not working properly, your body is also not favorable, at that time, how can you read and understand this deep science? I mean, we think that it is an emotional matter. No, it is not. It's a scientific thing. I mean, books like Bhagavad Gita teaches you how to live your life really. I mean, what is the way to live your life? And that is possible only at early age, as early as possible. Yes, that's correct. But yeah, it's better than what do they call it, like durghatna se der bali, right? I mean, it's better to actually get into it better than at any age. It's okay. Right.
Yeah, true. But I feel that I've lost so much. I mean, I really feel that this was actually something that was missing.
Yeah, we can cover up, don't worry. I mean, it's fine. We have actually spent more lives than the number of years that you think. So just just searching for something as per the scriptures. So it's okay.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we are eternal, so it doesn't matter. All right, the age doesn't apply to us. So basically, for a foolish, they are like eat, drink, and be merry. For a wise, they actually they understand that this is a temporary nature of the world. I mean, this is not permanent. These things they just come and go, and it's okay. But actually, a foolish actually thinks that this is a real world, and we have to just do some, right or wrong doesn't matter. I will do whatever I want to do, things like that, right? So a wise person, he lives a regulated life and is able to go out attain the god. But a foolish person, they just keep on roaming around here. And there is a lot of theory here. I'll skip the scriptural part of it. But the point is, this is how the life is, by the way. There are some people who just come in a train and they go away, right? Like one person just gets down. Okay. Then there is another person who gets down.
Google Trend.
This is
हाँ
Google Trend.
कौन सा गूगल स्लैइड
It's wala.
okay. Does it make sense? And this is how the life is. I mean, like, people keep on getting down from our life. I hope you understand what I'm saying, right? I mean, this is how we all came here, and we are living our life, and just one person after the other, they keep on going down, right? And this is Mahabharat. There is an interesting story. Actually, there is a person called Yudhishthir, right? Yudhishthir Maharaj, and he meets a yaksha, and yaksha asks him, what is the most amazing thing in this world? And Yudhishthir says, hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world, right? If you ask any of any of us, right? I mean, we'll say, oh, we are not, we'll behave as if we are never going to die, right? Even though it is not real. We know that everybody we have seen dying, but we think that it's okay, we are not going to die. It's like that's how we live in this world. And it's a wonderful thing. Definitely, it's very wonderful. Okay, if you think deeply about it. So we don't prepare for death. People say that, oh, I need to learn how to live. Oh, when you have to even learn how to die, right? Even that is important. So yeah, this is how the foolish person thinks. Mad after petty pleasures, and keep on doing, breaking God laws. Keep just doing whatever they feel like. And this is the situation. Like, there are goats who are coming one by one. They are being butchered, right? But the remaining goats, they keep thinking that, oh, I'll get to eat this tasty grass, right? Whatever the tasty grass they have, they are not bothered. They don't understand that the next goat that is going to be butchered is that goat, right? And this is us, by the way. So this is the situation, right? And they are just living for the short lived pleasure. Yes, Anukriti.
So basically, in few more sessions, you are going to tell us about how to die, how to prepare yourself for death, right?
No, it is a journey.
No.
It is a journey. It takes time. Okay, so I will tell you, but the point is that preparation takes time, right? So life is preparation,
But
and
you'll
death is the examination.
okay.
Think like that.
So can you give us just
Glimpse of it.
थोड़ा सा वैसा हाँ glimpse of it कि क्या होना चाहिए, how to prepare yourself?
I will. I
I
will
mean,
give the
what does
glimpse.
it mean?
I will give a glimpse before the end of this session today.
Okay, okay, ठीक, okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's not supposed to be a depressing session, even though it sounds like so far. But we have to actually go through this to understand that we really have problems. Otherwise, we will say that, no, I don't have any problem, right? But this is the real problem. You're going to get butchered one day, whether you want to eat more grass or whatever it is, right? Now, let's talk about the Vedic wisdom. Okay. And what does it talks about? So Vedas say that these are the two most important questions, okay, that should be asked, and Vedic knowledge gives answer to these two questions. The question is, why am I suffering, and what is the goal of life? These are the questions that should be asked, right? I mean, it's surprising. It's also a wonderful thing that nobody asked this question. Okay, we are happy. Like, it's as if in a sweet you have some sand. Okay, and whenever you eat that sweet, you get that sand in your mouth also, and you think that it's natural, right? I mean, but there is an absolute sweet also. But we have assumed that life is like this, kabhi khushi kabhi gum. This is what we think life is all about. But it's not like that. It's not supposed to be like that, right? There's a quote I read somewhere. I mean, it says, like, that suffering cannot be avoided, but the pain is optional. I mean, so whether you actually suffer from a problem or not is really your attitude. But okay, so the first question, why do we suffer, right? So we suffer all these miseries. There are like these four real problems: birth, old age, disease, and death. And then there is adhyatmic, adibhautik, and adidevic kleshas, right? Because we have actually sort of turned away from God's law. There are some laws, right? I mean, in front of, I stay in Nanagandla, Hyderabad. In front of my building, Aparna Cyber Life, they have put a board. I mean, police has put a board. It says, what does it say? Yeah, what? No laws, no pain. Okay, I forgot that quote. But what it means is that if you actually break the laws, you are going to get pains, right? I mean, that's what police has put somewhere. I'll figure out that. I'll take a picture and share with you offline. But the point is that if you break the laws, you're going to get the pain, right? So we're breaking the laws, like, because I think somebody was saying, right? I think she exited. Was that like, oh, it's okay. I mean, like, ignorance is a bliss. But no, it is not, right? I mean, if you break the laws, you're going to suffer, right? And there are defined laws. There is like a law of gravity. There is a law of karma also, right? And there are real laws. So if you break it unknowingly, then you're going to suffer. And it is also, think of it also like that, oh, we were in a safe custody of our parent. The parent of everyone is God, right? And we wanted to enjoy, like that girl who wanted to play with the kitchen of her own. And she went and she started cooking, but she's going to suffer because she'll get hungry and she'll not have any real thing to eat. And that's how we are suffering, right? Because we just turned away from God. And that is the reality. I mean, The spirituality that RTC was saying, right? Everybody gets into that, but they don't even know it's about knowledge. You have to understand, you have to ask this question and find the answer. Like, we have to start scientifically into this journey. Not like, okay, somebody tells me these 3-4 things to do and I will do it. Not like that. You have to understand, ask question, why are you suggesting this? Okay, whatever I will suggest, I will give the reasoning for it. Why, type of thing. Okay, that can be talked about. Or what is the basis? So essentially, the bottom line is that scriptures say that if you align with God, then you can overcome the suffering. Okay, what it means is that, like, just think about the older Vedic times. We were all aligned with God. God used to be in our center, no matter what. If you're getting married, if somebody dies, if a child is born, if whatever happens, right? God used to be in the center. Used to celebrate something or the other so that God is in the center in all the events in our life. But what has happened? Oh, by the way, would everybody mind turning on their camera? Sorry, I forgot to remind, and I see a few cameras, so I thought I'll just ask this. Yeah, brave ones can turn on their cameras. Thank you. Oh, okay. I see some brave souls. All right. So basically, the point is that aligning with God actually helps us overcome suffering, right? I mean, this is how the Vedic times used to be, and people used to be happy. I mean, as I think somebody was saying, right, that okay, the simple life actually makes you go closer to spirituality, go closer, and spirituality is not the right word. I mean, it's actually go closer to yourself. Okay, because these kind of desires and trying to enjoy is not going to give you any enjoyment, and we have all seen that, and that is the reason why people turn towards spirituality at 40, 50, 60, because they have tried enough, their enjoyment, and they realize that no, it's not going to help me, I am not happy, right? And that's when the people start thinking that no, there has to be some other solution, but this is the solution. Okay, the turn towards God, I mean, like, aligning ourselves with God, bringing God in the center really will actually give us real happiness. There is this it's not possible. Think of it like, we talk about universal brotherhood, but if you don't have a universal father, how can you be brothers? I mean, so many countries are fighting with each other, but if they had a universal father called God, then you are really brothers of each other, and all these problems will go away. Just think like that, right? And everything, the same thing applies everywhere. I mean, a family which prays together stays together. Okay, think about a setup where actually everybody is doing it for God. I mean, like, the father gets the money with the reason of actually, yeah, we'll get some nice flowers, we'll get some nice food, and we'll offer it to God and things like that. The wife is cooking because, okay, we will offer something to the God, right? Children are thinking of plucking flowers and things like that. They're all praying together, and that's a happy family. I mean, think of it like that, rather than, and they don't need to search happiness outside. Right now, everybody has their own TVs with their own remotes, and they're all trying to switch channels with each other, fighting for it, and that's not going to work, right? It's not the solution. Does it make sense what I'm saying? But by the way, this is what scriptures tell us. Okay, that's turning towards God is the thing which is going to make us happy. And I'll elaborate. By the way, I'll elaborate as I go further. This is just the beginning. Okay. Does it make sense so far? That the answer that I gave?
Yes, Nivendra.
Okay. If it didn't, Vipinji, what do you think? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this is first time I'm attending such session like this. I'm trying to
Okay.
figure it out. Like, still I'm not
What
come
is
to
it?
any conclusion of, or in, I just without judging, I'm trying to understand what are
Yeah,
different
actually,
perspectives.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think you missed previous sessions. If you want, you can go through the recording. Okay, that will give you some real perspective of what we are talking about. Because I think there have been 3 sessions so far, and we talked about lot of things. So just jumping into this may sound like, what are we talking about? What is going on here?
yeah,
But
that's like,
bottom line
but
is, we are
it's
trying to scientifically understand the spirituality, okay, in a more
okay.
rational way, right? Rather than jumping to conclusions, we are just trying to understand, give it a
Yes,
chance, right?
yes,
We
that's what.
actually, right, we give so many material things a chance, right? To become an engineer, we spend hours and hours, hundreds of hours of our life, right? Let's give it 2 hours at least. Try to understand what's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Artiji, you had a question.
Yeah, so basically the previous slide that you shared, wherein you said that you put like we all should put God in the center.
Hmm. Yes.
I mean, all of us, we do basic puja at home. I think all of us do that, and
Yeah.
we also perform a lot of ceremonies and rituals also in the name of God, or we include God in all our ceremonies.
Hmm.
So I mean, without knowing the essence behind it, we just
Yeah.
follow what has been told or what our ancestors have been following. So
Yeah.
it's just a tradition that we do, that we follow. So I mean, what this session is about discovering yourself. That, I think that's
Yeah.
the name of the session. So
Yes.
this workshop. So
Yeah.
I mean, that is lost somewhere, because I
Yes.
feel that even though we are including God in all our ceremonies,
Hmm.
that, like you said, that is more of an artificial thing that we are doing, or probably just blindly following our
Yeah.
tradition,
Yeah. Yeah.
or just doing basic puja every day at home.
Right. Right. Right.
But
I'm
that
not saying
doesn't
that. Correct.
that is
We are
not
not talking about religion here, by the way. This is not a religious session. This is a
absolutely
session
right,
on
right,
spirituality.
correct,
Right? Okay.
right.
And God is a real person. And this is what scriptures say. Okay. And if you understand this point, and we talked about this in our second session, right? That there is a real person called God. Okay. Who's actually, and we talked about so many wonderful things around us, which we can really feel and see, right? So many nice things around us, right? The sun comes on time. There's just right amount of light that we get and the heat that we get. There are so many wonderful flowers and fruits, and they're all methodically planned for us. And if you talk about probability, the probability of this happening will be like 1 in the billionth, and maybe less than that, right? Why is it happening? Why are we so peacefully living, right? So the God is real. There's a real person, and that is what we missed out. This is what is missed out in our following the tradition part. Okay. If you don't, and then who's God, that we'll talk about that thing also. There are a few sessions on that, right? But the point is that at least for now, when we even think of God as an abstract entity, the God that we know of, that we call whatever name with, right? Do we really follow their law? Do we really think of God as a real person? If we don't, then do not expect any change to happen. Okay. If you think that just putting some sugar in front of some deity every once or twice in a month is going to solve it, no, that's not going to solve it. Because how you treat your child, right? What kind of, if you think of a real person, your parent or your wife or husband, right? How do you treat them? There's a real person somewhere, and if you really want to follow the law, then you have to at least think of them as a real person, right? Or him as a real person. There's no two, there is one only.
So what was the last slide about?
The last slide was about that you move towards aligning with God, with God's law. Okay. It's not about just blindly following something, but it is about understanding the basis of it, going towards Vedic wisdom, going towards spirituality, and following that path, because Vedic uh, uh, wisdom has solutions to these problems. Okay. The solutions are real. Also, as the problems are real, the solutions are also real, and they are repetitive, and everybody is able to get benefited by it. Okay. And that is the point. That is what the point I'm trying to make here, nothing else, right? I'm not talking about that you do your some random puja or something for which you don't understand the basis. Okay, we talk about the basis, and we are talking about a real sampradaya. Last time we talked about that I belong to a sampradaya called Brahma Madhu Sampradaya, and basically it is repeatable solutions. It has been followed since ages, and people are able to get benefited by it. The point is, and there is a logic, rational, which can be talked about at every step. Okay.
So how can we do that? How can we
We'll
I
talk
mean,
about it. We'll talk about it.
because what I meant was that how, like you said, that you should treat God as your own self, one of
No,
your own.
no, 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 no.
How you
Yeah,
treat your parents and your kids
yes,
and husband.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
so how can we do that? I mean, there.
I will come to the solution. As I said, right? Have patience.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Shivalji.
Guruji, what do I feel is when we go for the ceremony of birth, death, or whatever the puja we do, the Sanskrit mantras all do mean the same that what we have all discussed in our
Mm,
sessions, but
mm,
due to the language difference, we are reading something
yeah,
else and we are
yeah,
saying something else. I mean,
yeah.
pray in the sense of prayer. So that is not allowing us moving to move closer to God.
Yes, yes. You're right. Yes.
Lack
That
of
is why.
language skill.
Yes, that is why we are talking about it in terms of modern setup. But
Yes,
of course, the knowledge is the same. I'm not making up anything here. Okay,
yes,
everything that I am saying has been said since ages in a different examples. I may give an example of a virtual reality, right? But of course, it's new, right? The maybe 200-300 years back, somebody would not have used the word virtual reality, but would have said the same thing, that we are living in a world which is an illusion in some other way. Right? But the essence is same. Okay. All right. Moving ahead. So talking about the second part, what is the goal of life? Okay, so the goal, I mean, like, what it says, and this is what coming from Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita says, Vasam sijirnani yatha vihaya navani granati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. So this comes in the second chapter, and basically what it means is that, in short, is that you are a soul. Okay, and your body is just like a cloth or a shirt that you are wearing. That's all, right? Okay, let it sink in. It is not our soul. We are a soul and we have a body. Okay, and as a person wears new dress, giving up old dresses, that is how the soul just changes the body, giving up the old and useless bodies. This is what this verse means literally. Okay, so this is how we keep changing our body. So changing body is not a big deal. This is what spirituality teaches us. The first 101. I mean, like, when if you know the setup of Bhagavad Gita, when the discussion started, Arjun was very baffled and he was confused and things like that, with all the problems and miseries of his life. This was the first thing when Krishna starts speaking. This is one of the first things that he tells. Okay, that forget about it. Just come to the platform. Okay, you are a soul, and this is your body. And even if the body goes away, it doesn't matter. Next body will come, and this is real, and you are eternal. So come to the platform of knowledge. Okay, that's called Sankhya, and this is the first thing taught to him, right? And this is our situation. I mean, like, and okay, and let's just giving some more details, by the way. So what really happens, because we talked about this topic that we are a soul, this is what happens at the time of death. Okay, the soul actually leaves this body, the gross body, and we talked about it. There are two types of body that we have: a gross body, which is made up of earth, air, water, fire, and ether, and then there is a subtle body, which is made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego, right? Man, buddhi, and ahankar, right? So the soul leaves this gross body behind and goes to the another womb. And that, which womb will it go? Based on the desires that the soul has at the time of death. Whatever desire you have at the time of death, that kind of body you will try to find. Okay, and what about the subtle body, that mind, intelligence, and false ego, that goes along with the soul from one body to another. And this is what scriptures say, not making up anything. But think of it like this, right? I mean, you have a bike, you have a cycle, you wanted to go to a bike because that is what you desired, and then you wanted to go to a car, and then a plane, and like that you're just changing vehicles one after the other, thinking that, oh, maybe that bigger vehicle will give me pleasure, and that's how you are trying based on your desire. But is it that easy? No, it's not that easy. There's one more factor. But the point is that all of these, like, as a soul, you get to go to a body of animal, even the bodies of devatas, even the body of a dog or cat or virus or whatever, and a human, and things like that. And you keep on moving from one body to another, and you are a soul, and you are just struggling because you are trying to enjoy. And this is the spiritual wisdom. Okay. Yeah. And what is the basis, right? I mean, is it that easy? I just desire. Yeah, this is what Bhagavad Gita says. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajante ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. So it says that, you know, whatever state you think at the time of quitting the body, that state you attain, whatever you are thinking. Okay, so it's just a state of mind. So essentially it happens by two factors. One, which is called the desire. Whatever desire you have, that body you will achieve. The second thing is based on your karma. And karma, think of it like a bank balance. If I have enough bank balance, I could actually pretty much find a body based on my balance, right? I mean, I may want to become a devta, but do I have that much of balance with me? If I have, then yes, I will get that body. If I don't have, I will not, right? So based on these two factors, you get a right body. Okay, and then you struggle there also. But we talked about something out of it. I mean, there is something out of this struggle also, and that is a higher level thing, right? And last time we talked about it also a bit. But essentially, bottom line, and talking briefly about law of karma, and it is more than that. But this is a simple way to understand it. Okay, as you sow, so shall you reap, right? Whatever you do, right? I mean, you know, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So you do something bad, bad things will come. Do something good, good things will come. We have been taught since our childhood, right? Uh, that you know, don't do bad things, otherwise bad things will happen. It's as simple as that, but it's more complicated. But we'll skip it for some other session, the complications. But essentially, you will say that, oh, come on, is it real? Yes, it's real, and you can see it. I mean, you go and slap a person, right? And they will come and slap you immediately, right? And that is karma. You did whatever you did, you got the equal and opposite reaction, right? So some reactions come instantaneously, some come after some time. For example, you actually eat something bad, right? Bad meaning some chole and things like that. You eat a lot of it in the night. In the morning, you'll get the reaction, right? You'll have a stomach upset and things like that. So the reaction came slightly after a night. You start smoking, maybe after 20 years, you'll get a cancer or something like that, right? So it comes even after some time. And then there are some actions which can go beyond lifetimes also, right? So it is just a matter of that. It's just a matter of when that will come, but it will come. And this is how it is. And you can experience it in your life, right? It's a simple thing to understand and experience. Okay, so essentially understanding these two things is very important, that you are a soul and then there is a law of karma by which you are bound. Okay, and this is why you are struggling. This is the reason for struggle. We don't know why this, I mean, we think, right, the good things happen to bad people. That is a common question asked, right? That that person is bad, but so he has so much money and he's enjoying and things like that. You never know, right? In previous lives or sometime, maybe they did something good and they're just reaping the fruits of that, whatever they did. But that will also last. I mean, it will not be forever. And that's why there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. And like, you know, after the light, you get into a tunnel and things like that, right? So someday you're going to struggle and someday that person is going to be happy and things like that, right? So that is the law of karma in short. Does it making sense, or too much overdose of theories? But these two theories have to be understood clearly. Anyone? I'll randomly ask names. Just pausing and asking. Who else? Yeah, Atikesh, are you able to understand? Is it making sense? Are you listening? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I got to.
Okay, I'll ask a quiz also at the end. Okay.
Okay.
So listen carefully. All right. Okay. Fine. So this is law of karma, right? And then let's talk further. Okay. So essentially, law of karma, if you think about it, it leaves us to options in life always, right? And the options are many, of course. In short, two is like right and wrong, right? If we take the right path, then we get into the right direction. We go further in our life in the spiritual terms. And if we take the wrong path, we get stuck here, right? And we keep on going from one life to another and things like that, right? So this leads us to a topic of, oh, what is good and what is bad, what is in short good and what is in short bad. So essentially, scriptures talk about these four things as sins. Okay, now where is it coming from? Which scripture? Oh, there are so many scriptures. I mean, Srimad Bhagavatam, so many Puranas, all of them. I can quote a verse if you want, and then talk about it. Okay. So there is a story. Anybody knows the story of Parikshit, King Parikshit from Srimad Bhagavatam? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell in short. So Parikshit, in the first book of Srimad Bhagavatam, Pratham Skand, first canto, what comes is that Parikshit was going somewhere, and he saw a person who actually broke three legs of a cow. Okay, and he was beating the bull and things like that. All sort of things were happening there. So he got baffled. What's going on? I mean, like, something silly happening. Three legs have been broken, and so he thought, like, no, this is not good. I will go and kill this person. Okay, and he went talked to him, and that person said, "See, I am Kaliyug. Okay, I am Kaliyug. I mean, if you know that right now we are living in that age called Kaliyug, right? So he said, I'm Kaliyug and I'm supposed to come because my time has come now." And Parikshit was a good king. He said, no, I mean, I will not let this happen. And he said, I will kill you. And this guy got scared. He said, at least give me some place to live. Okay, this is not right. I mean, because this is my time, I'm supposed to come. Give me some place to live. And this is what mm, Parikshit Maharaj said. The king Parikshit said. He said, Sri Suta Uvacha Abhyarthitastada Tasmai Sthanani Kalaudadayu Dyutam Panam Striya Suna Yatra Dharmasya Chaturvidha. So it says, Dyutam Panam Striya Suna Yatra Adharmasya Chaturvidha. It says that, oh, there are 4 places that I allow you to live. Okay, they are the pillars of sin. Okay, and that is where I'm allowing you to live. And what are those pillars of sin? So these are the ones. Okay. So Dyut, Pan, Stri, and Suna, and talk about it. So Pan means meat eating. Suna means Suna is the meat. So Suna is the meat eating. Okay. And then Pan is the intoxication. And Dyut is called gambling. And Striya means, like, having illicit relationship with someone. Okay. So these are the 4 things that he described as the pillar of sins. And that's where it all started, sort of. So essentially, if these 4 things, if you just follow any of this, it quickly glides us down into animal bodies. Okay. And this is what scriptures say. And there is more to it, but I'm just talking gross level. Just think of it like, gross level. At least these 4 things should be absolutely avoided. They are sinful as per scriptures. Is it the session is going in the right direction or wrong direction? Do you think, no, come on, this is not what I wanted to hear. I don't want to leave meat or something like that. And now you are not in the right mood. Yeah, Artiji, tell me.
So this is basically regarding karma.
Yes.
So there is no getting away. Is that what you mean, that there is no getting away from karma? Once you have done something, you'll have to deal with it. I mean, whatever you do will not help. Later on,
No.
whatever you do.
No, there are ways. There are ways to get out.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, it's possible to get out of karma also. There are ways.
Okay, so you'll be
I will tell
enlightening
you
us with.
that is an advanced topic. We'll talk about it after maybe some time. But it is possible.
Okay.
But the point is that why do the bad karma right now? Okay, these 4 are definitely absolutely bad karmas. Okay, absolutely. They are quickly going to bring you down to animal life. Think about it in a simple terms. If you're doing these 4 things, you are actually almost living like an animal. That's all. A 2-legged animal.
So
And if you're
people
doing
who do not don't come under this, they should feel safe.
these 4 things, and then there are 4 things which should be done. Okay, so that I talked about, like, 3 legs of that bull was broken, and essentially what are those legs, by the way? So this is what is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Tapa shocham daya satyam iti pada krite krita adharmasya trayo bhagna smaya sanga madashtava. So basically those 3 legs, trayo bhagna, 3 legs were broken. Okay. And what are the 4 legs? It says tapa shocham daya satyam. These are the 4 things that has to be followed. Okay. Now what are those? What does it mean? It means austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. Okay. These are the 4 legs of dharma. If followed right, then they can actually save you from trouble. And these were the four. And that bull was actually the dharma. Okay, and the cow was actually the earth, mother earth. Okay, and that is the story. That's how the book describes it. Okay, so essentially these four things have to be followed. Now, what does it mean in practical, right? I mean, this truthfulness and austerity and cleanliness, it sounds abstract, right? So just making it real. So essentially, I'll go. But before that, just understand, like if you're doing this, and this is natural. The nature is just and fair. If you actually enjoy eating meat, isn't it that the best body for you is a body of a tiger, right? Because that body you'll be able to enjoy meat more than anyone. Okay, you'll get unlimited amount of meat there because that will be your staple food. Day and night you'll eat meat, and this is what nature does for you. Okay, that because you wanted to eat meat, so let's give you meat. So okay, you get a body of a tiger or some such carnivore, right? And so this is natural, and this is how you fall into the animal thing. I mean, if somebody likes to sleep, isn't it a better body for them to have a body of a polar bear, right, where they can sleep for 6 months or whatever, right? More than that. And this is natural, and this is what you will get then as per scriptures, right? If somebody likes to just expose, then isn't it a better body that you get a body of a tree where you can just sit naked and be like that forever and stuff like that, right? I mean, this is just some few examples, but the point is that that's natural, that what happens is natural, and this is being fair with your desires, because this is what you wanted to do, and so you are given that, right? And this is the law of karma. Okay.
But then there are bigger sins than this, like cheating people or being dishonest. Stuff. Because here I feel whatever people are doing, they are doing on themselves. Except
We
for
are alone,
the
like,
last slide where
yes. So for any of the sin, there are right amount of reaction. Whether you cheat somebody, you do something, whatever it is, but it all starts from us ourselves, right? I mean, if you are following those laws of the right things that should be done, okay, gradually you get purified on, and all these things also go away. But it has to start from somewhere, and this is just the starting point. I'm telling you, it has to start from you ourselves, right? First, because we think that, oh, being good with others is good enough. No, it is not good enough. Actually, there are that it can only take you to up to certain level in spirituality, not beyond that. Okay, it's not possible to go beyond a point just being good. It is actually to cross over. I mean, if you see, right, I mean, in a chapati that you make in the gas stove, if you don't put the heat properly, then it will just stick. It will never bake properly, or whatever. It will never cook properly.
yeah, correct.
So right amount of fire is required, and the fire has to be more than that, right? What we think. So just okay, can I eat meat and just be good with others? No, you cannot be, because the people, that the souls are also there in the animal's body also, right? So just by being good with others and eating meat is not going to solve it. That much is there. That's the point. So just it has to start from somewhere, and we have to start from ourselves. And there is a deeper reason for it, but trust me that you cannot just go ahead and try to make the world a better place without making yourself better.
So isn't that the first thing, that you be good to others? Isn't that the first thing, the basic thing? Because at least you're harmless.
Okay. Do you think and being good to others and eating meat is okay?
No, I'm a vegetarian. I mean, I don't fall under any of these categories.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we'll talk about, like, what should be done. I mean, if this is not a problem, let's talk about what should be done. Okay. Being good to others is definitely important. I'm not saying that it is not important. I'm not demeaning it. Okay. But what I'm saying is that, at least, I mean, if you're at a right platform, and as I said, see, I'll tell you one thing. There are something called as mode of nature. Okay. In English. In Hindi, it is called Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. I don't know if you have heard these terms.
sorry, I missed it. My network.
Have
Yes.
you ever heard
Yes, I
terms
have
called,
heard of it.
right? Sattvagun,
Sorry,
Rajogun,
come
and
again.
Tamogun. Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. Have you heard this?
Yeah, I've heard, but I don't know
Yeah.
much about it.
Yes. So there are people, all of us actually fall into a combination of these gunas. And guna in Sanskrit means two things. Guna means a special quality, that is also it's called guna, and gun also means a rope. Okay, so these things are like ropes which bind us, bind our nature also. So a person who's actually in a sinful life, you'll see that they are frustrated more, they are more angry, they sleep more, right? And things like that. They want to do intoxication and stuff like that. Those people are actually in a lower mode of tamoguna and things like that. Okay, and the person, as you gradually get purified, do the right things, then you go higher in the modes, which is gradually to the rajogun. A rajogun person, he actually likes to eat spicy food. He will actually be more like a fighting kind of spirit. He's not an intoxication and things, but he'll be more like, fight and stuff like that. Okay, more like a kshatriya and things, and they are in the rajogun. Okay, and as you go higher, you get more purified, you are in something called as sattva gun. And sattva gun is a mode where you are like uh, knowledge and happiness. These are the two qualities of that mode, where you are like more like a person who will just be talking nice with others. He'll be happy, peaceful always, right? I'm happy, everything is fine, I don't care, I mean, it's okay, we are happy types, like, like that person. But understand that these are all external things, like, there is something beyond this also. Okay, this is not us. A person who's actually taking intoxication, or who's actually fighting with others, or who's actually a happy person, all of this is a trouble, because that happy person also is happy with where he is. So he is okay. I want to be okay wherever I am. I don't want to go to the spiritual world because I'm happy here, right? I don't have any problem in life. No, even that is not a solution, because this life you are happy, the next life you may not be. So the point is that we have to understand the basics. We are a soul, there is a problem. Okay, whether you are happy, whether you think you are happy, or whether you think you are not happy, you are all going to die, and there is a problem, right? And we have to get out of this trouble. So yes, being good to others, sattva gun is a good thing to have. Without being in sattva gun, or the mode of goodness, you cannot make progress in spirituality. A person who is intoxicated, he can definitely not make progress in spirituality, because his own mind and body is not in his control. How can he actually think about these higher subject matters? So at least let's start with these basics, that okay, we will at least not do this much, and then this actually brings you to a mode of goodness. Gradually it will uplift you, and in that mode of goodness, where you have knowledge and happiness, is you can understand the subject matter further. And that is why I'm talking about these four things as the basic. And I'm not ending here, by the way. Like, with people, some of the people, we have been discussing spirituality for last couple of years here, right? And I've been talking about it for many more years also. But the point is, and there's so much to talk about, and there is so many other things which happen. But unless you are in the right platform of goodness, you cannot understand these things. Does it make sense what I'm saying? These are the basics. Just think of it like this. And sorry, we are running. I think we are short of time today. We should finish this so that we can talk more. Does it make sense, Aarti? Or no, not, you're not convinced?
Yeah, I mean, I
No.
don't know.
Okay,
But
you're
we
not
can
convinced.
move on actually.
No, yeah, that's okay. It's okay. So it's okay to agree to disagree, and we will talk about it after I finish this. Okay, if that is okay, I'll
Sure.
talk about it. Don't
Thank
worry.
you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but I do understand your point. Trust me. So the point is that if you obey God's laws, and these are the four things that I talked about. Okay, right? Austerity, sacrifice, knowledge, and association of right saints. Okay, these are the four things. If you do this much, this is good enough to progress in the right path. And we are talking basics, just trust me. I mean, like, just understand it to that level. Okay, this is minimum. Austerity, what does it mean? Austerity means actually tap, right? Tap means, like, doing something voluntarily for a higher purpose. For example, we all did it, by the way. A person who's an engineer, they have actually left their nice movies and going out with the parents and playing with the kids, right, for a higher purpose, because they wanted to become an engineer. So austerity is required. It is logical. Okay. Similarly, knowledge, yes, you have to have the knowledge to be able to understand what is right and what is wrong. right? So that knowledge is required. Okay. Sacrifice, meaning like, that you have to actually do something in the right direction. And sacrifice again, is like, okay, that I will actually give up something important, I will do something for a higher purpose, and things like that. And the fourth one is called association of saints. Why this association is required? Why can't I do it alone? Because the people that you associate with, you become like them. I mean, if you associate with a person who's actually boozing, smoking, then you will gradually start smoking, whether you want it or not, right? I mean, you just spend some time with those people who are smoking. One day they will just put a cigarette in your hand also, right? So if you associate with right set of people, then they actually move us in the right direction. And this is the basic way of progressing in spirituality. Yeah. Any thoughts? Any questions? You must be thinking, is that all? Is that so easy? I mean, like, come on, we were expecting some kind of a revelation to come here. But I can tell you these things are simple and sublime. I mean, otherwise it will not work. If I ask you that, oh no, the solution is that you actually take out your clothes and just wear your underwear and go to the Himalaya and just sit there for 20 days, right, in a minus 10 degrees, and then you'll get whatever. So that is not going to work, by the way. Just trust me, right? Uh, we have to understand that we have to gradually go up from a lower platform that we are in. Okay. And as you go higher, all those things will become accessible. Okay. Without knowledge, what are you going to practice, right? Without austerity, how can you achieve anything in life? You have never achieved anything in life, and you need the association of right set of people, right? That is absolutely obvious. Yes, Meghaji, you have a question, or I saw your hand up at one point. Yes,
Yeah, actually, I think we're running short of time, so probably maybe we'll take it up in next session or something. So, if you can elaborate more on meat eating, because people who eat meat, they give a lot of arguments, and they are basically based on what we have learned from our childhood. Again, our education system, if we are being told that we are omnivorous, we can eat both, and even the doctors would say that eat egg for protein source. I mean, there are so many things, and people will give arguments, and they will say that if you say that there is a soul, then there is a soul in the plant also. I mean, there are a lot of arguments around it. So if you can give some more on that.
All those arguments can be answered, like all of them. All of these, whatever you said, can be answered. I can share some offline content actually in the group about this particular topic, and or we can even discuss it next time. We'll see, whatever makes sense. But yes, all of these things can be answered. We don't need that much patience for that. And we are not like an I mean, think about those animals like tiger and all, the kind of intestine they have. We don't have that. The kind of teeth they have, we don't have that. Okay. But anyways, we'll talk about those things. Okay, so making them real, what does it mean? Okay, what can I do? What should I do? Right. And this is the way to attain no birth, no death, no old age, and no disease. Okay. We are a soul. It doesn't matter in this life or next life. It doesn't matter. But you are able to get out of this problem, because otherwise next life again will come. You'll again have to start from ABCD. Learn the ABCD. Again, your teachers and parents will shout at you and things like that. Think about it, right? Again and again. Is it a good place to be? I don't know. Right. So what does it mean? Like, that we have to obey God's law. And this is a simple formula, I'll tell you. Okay. These are like just A, B, C, D, E. If we follow this much, it is good enough. The first thing, A, is association. That we associate with the right set of people. I mean, you people are really wonderful that you are actually spending a Sunday evening just hearing about some person like me talking about something, trying to figure out what is it all about. But actually, if we associate, I mean, and the other thing that you could have done is go out in the disco, pub, whatever, and spend time like that, right? And if you do that, then we know what is going to happen. We have tried doing that for years, right? And does it make us happy or does it not? We all know the answer, right? So if we associate with the right set of people, we will get elevated. We get elevated by doing that, right? And there is much more to it, but just making basics. Okay. And the B is for books. I mean, we should definitely read books like Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures so that we get the knowledge. And C is for chanting. And this is a topic that we'll talk about in detail in the next session. The next session is only about this particular part. So essentially, it's about like, okay, why chant? And we'll try to understand what it is all about. But in all the religions, as you can see in the picture, right? Be it, and it's interesting that people like, be it a Catholic who chants the Hail Mary, or a Muslim who chants the names of their the way they understand God, or the Hindus who do that. And why, what, we'll talk about it. The next one is called diet. I mean, eating the food which is right. Okay. And the last one is about E, which is engagement or service. Okay. So doing these 5 things are good enough in this age. And where is it coming from? It's coming from those 4 things that we talked about before this. Okay. Because eating the right food is austerity. Okay. Chanting is like a sacrifice. Books is the knowledge, right? And association with the right set of people is again, like, brings us higher. And these are the pretty much the things that dharma talks about. Okay. So much I spoke, and we are out of time, but it doesn't matter. I think as ever, we have been discussing more than our time. So does it make sense? So much I talked about, I didn't hear from anyone. But the point, I'll yeah, tell me any questions. Or I have 1 or 2 slides. I'll just quickly complete that. Okay. But these are the 5 things. Just keep in mind: A, B, C, D, E. Okay. Association, books, chanting, diet, and engagement. These 5 things can actually liberate. They are as powerful as that. Okay. So yeah, if you follow that, and this is what Bhagavad Gita says, right? I mean, the man, basically, you can actually get out of it. I mean, if you are conducive, if you do perform the acts which are conducive to your self-realization, then you gradually go to the higher level. You gradually move forward. If you don't, then you go down. And this is what Bhagavad Gita says, that as you go there in the spiritual world, you never come back. Okay. It says that a person who actually attains the spiritual world, they never come back. Okay. And that is a promise. So will I come back if I actually cross this part? No, you will not come back. Okay. Just by following these 5 things, you can go out. And this is a summary slide which we'll talk about. Anyways, I will share that whatever it is. Okay. Yes, questions. Yeah, Meghaji.
Yeah. So regarding austerity, so like in today's day and age, you gave an example of engineering. So yes, that is true. Like people for the materialistic goal, they are ready to do the austerities. But in that also people look for shortcuts. But when it comes to spirituality, uh, austerity no one wants to do. First of all, they are not interested in spirituality, and they take it as whatever is easy. Uh, like they make their own ideas and something which they have seen in television or something someone has spoken, and something which is easy, like worshipping demigods, or I mean there are so many things. So how we can let people know that austerity is not bad, because people usually think that when something I can get it easily and there's a shortcut, why do I go a hard way? And even I have seen people around me who say that we should, I mean, maybe I'm going off topic, but maybe I'll connect later on that.
Yeah, but I'll answer this much, whatever we talked about. Essentially, what happens is that, see, it is not about the easy way, it is about the right way. I mean, like, right now it's a virtual world, and the kids, when they are giving the exams, they are free to open their books and search for the answer online and give the exam, right? It's an easy way to solve the problem. But will it actually work when they will face the real exams in life, right? It's not going to solve the problem, right? So there are shortcuts. I mean, and our scriptures talk about the shortcuts also. I mean, but those shortcuts are really shortcuts. They will actually may make you happy. Like we have heard, right? We all must have heard that, oh, you do this puja, you do this thing, and you will actually get something in life. Yes, you can get something in this life, right? But for how long? After 200 years, all of us will be dead, whoever is in this call, right? So how does it matter? I mean, whatever you got, it is bigger than that. And this is a matter of intelligence. And that's why knowledge helps. We have to understand that we are more than what this body tells us, that, oh, I'm so and so, and I have a car and a house and a wife and a kids, and and whatever XYZ, right? It's more than that. And that's what spirituality tells us. That, okay, it's not just following a tradition or something called as religion. Religion is more like a outside shell, but spirituality is like that core kernel, okay, that core of the coconut, which is juicy and stuff. And the purpose of religion is just to bring us to spirituality. There's no other purpose. Religion is just to attract people by showing them some simple things, and then gradually bring them to the real problems in the world. Okay. And without knowledge, without the right guru, without the right sampradaya, this knowledge cannot be revealed. It is not revealed like that. It's not understood like that. It's not possible. But we can talk in detail. But the point remains the same. That the shortcuts, are they the right way to solve the problem? They are not. They can only take you so much. They can give you some money, maybe a wife, maybe a job. It's okay. But that is not the problem. That is not the real problem. We talked about those are anyways temporary problems. Anyways, you could have got a job some way or the other. It's okay. Doesn't matter. I mean, that's how. And then that problem that actually brings a lot of questions also in the mind. And that's why people say that I'm an atheist, because you think that, oh, that person was a good person because, oh, just being good is good enough. But if that would have been good enough, then I am a good person. Why am I suffering and stuff like that, right? Even those problems come into picture. And then you go and ask, you get into a habit of asking something to the God, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, and then you think that God doesn't exist. But God is not your order supplier. He's not supposed to just give you whatever you ask for, right? I mean, it's more than that. As we talked about, the conception of God is that God is a loving father, somebody who's actually giving us everything, whether we believe in him or not. I mean, we are still living peacefully here. Okay. And are we thankful to that? Do we really love? I mean, the way we love our parents, the parents also love their parents. And like that, if we trace it back, we'll realize that, oh, God is the ultimate parent of even the parent of parent of parent, right? So the way we love our parent, I mean, he's the supreme father. So then do we love him or not is the question, right? So it is about those understanding and feelings. It is not about following a tradition and solving, doing some puja and things like that. That is not going to solve it. Scriptures tell us that we are a soul, we are coming from spiritual world, we are suffering here, and we have to go back, and that's when we can be happy. There is no other solution. And for that, there is no other shortcut. And scriptures talk about a lot of other solutions, even for this problem. There some are difficult, some are easy, and things like that. But what I'm talking about here is the simplest of them all. Okay, just follow those 5 things and can easily go back. In this age, in the current world that we live in, with so much of troubles, going to Himalayas is not easy. Reading scriptures for hundreds of years is not possible. Doing a yajna for thousands of years is not possible. Then what is the simple solution? So this is what we are talking about. Something which can make sense. Anyways, Anukriti ji, you have any question?
या नहीं, एक्चुअली मेरे पास कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं, क्योंकि मैं बस सुन रही हूँ। मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि मे बी आई मीन मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है मैं सिर्फ एक नादान बच्चे की तरह हूँ और जिसको कुछ नहीं पता। दैट्स इट। So I'm just waiting.
That's a good place.
Let's see.
See, there is no problem in being at that place. I mean, it's okay, and that's how we think. I mean, that's how we should all think. I mean, that's how I also feel, because spirituality is vast. I mean, I don't know enough, but the point is there are simple solutions to even complicated problems. Okay, no, I mean, even if this solution sounds simple, it doesn't mean that it is not real. Okay, that it doesn't work. I mean, even though this looks like a simple.
Narendra, there's one thing I want to ask.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
So all I want to ask is कि मैं यहाँ पे यहाँ अबू धाबी में रह रही हूँ, यूएई में। यहाँ पे अभी तक एक भी मंदिर नहीं है। एक मंदिर, बहुत बड़ा मंदिर राधा स्वामी का बन रहा है, और वो अब 2022 में लॉन्च होगा, शुरू होगा। तो मेरा ना बहुत मन करता है मंदिर जाने का, बहुत मन करता है कि मैं मंदिर जाऊं, वहां बैठूं, वहाँ पे वो भक्ति में जैसे लोग रहते हैं, तो मुझे वो फील करने का बहुत मन करता है, क्योंकि बचपन में ऑब्वियसली आई बीन टू टेम्पल्स, तो मुझे बहुत पसंद था अंदर जाना। पर यहाँ पे अनफॉर्चुनेटली, तो व्हेन यू सेड ना यू हैव टू एसोसिएट विद द राइट सेट ऑफ पीपल, अब यहाँ पे क्या होता है, माय हस्बैंड, he he's a party animal. He does not, he is not at all into all such things. अब उनको एवरी वीकेंड जो है पार्टी करनी है, दोस्तों के साथ बैठना है, और उनके फ्रेंड्स भी वैसे ही हैं। ऑब्वियसली आई हैव, आउट ऑफ ऑब्लिगेशन, मैं कितनी बार मना कर सकती, आई हैव टू बी देयर, but then I feel, missing. I don't like, but I used to be this person, I used to be very fun. I mean, hanging around with people, having parties every weekend, and like we are into all sort of things जो आप शायद सुनना पसंद नहीं करेंगे, like alcohol and all that is okay, like we have such kind of lifestyle here, and we have, like ऐसा रहा है हमारा लाइफस्टाइल। पर अब मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता, अब मुझे ना ये सब चीजें, मुझे लगा था यहाँ पे आने के बाद इट विल बी फन, बट इट इज नॉट फन एनी मोर। अब मुझे ऐसा लगने लगा है कि मे बी, मुझे जैसा लगता था कि मैं बहुत सोशल हूँ, आई एम नॉट दैट सोशल, maybe I'm not social anymore, but yes, like my heart is yearning for temples, I want to go and sit and do puja, या फिर मैं सिर्फ सुनूं, मैं पूजा नहीं भी करूं, मेरा मन होता है कि मैं सुनूं, पर यहाँ पे तो वो पॉसिबल नहीं है। तो ये राइट एसोसिएशन मेरे केस में कैसे होगा? मुझे आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
Yeah. I realized I was on mute. So basically, it is what we are doing right now is the right association. Okay. You may not be able to get it whole day and night. It's okay. Sometimes even talking for some time in a week also helps. But actually, having some right set of people around us helps. And you will realize one thing I am telling you: God is a person. Okay, He's not a theory. It's actually, as we have talked about this in our session throughout, that based on our desires we get our body, based on our desires something happens, things like that. It is just the desire, by the way. I mean, because you had a desire, you are attending this session. If you have the desire, you will get association also. Okay. Yeah, this is
I
real.
hope
I mean,
I
this,
get it soon. Yeah.
yes, yes. I mean,
No,
this
I
is real.
really
I'm telling
wanna.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But
Okay.
focus on the
Thank
other
you.
part, other things that we can do for
Yes.
sure. I mean, they are real also. Like
Yeah.
the books that we can read. Like for example, Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Is what we should read.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this actually the book. This book is very simple. Last time we talked about, right. It is actually the summary of the Vedic knowledge. Okay. It teaches us how to live really. Okay. So some amount of reading every time will help us. And anyways, after this set of sessions, if anybody is interested, we'll definitely continue with our Bhagavad Gita reading and things like that. We can do that. Chanting is a very, very important and very, very simple thing to do. I mean, anybody can do it pretty much in any kind of state. I mean, if I think Shivaliji was saying, right, that the things are written in Sanskrit, so we don't understand. I don't know if any of you have been to a puja where they said, apavitro pavitro va sarva avastha bheva yasmaret pundarikaksha sabhaya bhyantara shuchi. This is what they actually recite before any puja. Okay, this is the mantra that they recite. And what does it mean is that it's simple. It says that, oh, whether you are a purified or you are not purified, sarvavastha bhayeva. It means, like, any kind of situation you may be in. Okay, you are taking alcohol, intoxication, XYZ, doesn't matter. Okay, you have taken bath, not taken bath, it doesn't matter. Okay, just Maret Pundarikaksha. Whoever remembers a person who's lotus eyed, Pundarikaksh means lotus eyed person. Whoever remembers that lotus eyed one, who's actually Vishnu, right? Sabhaya Bhyantara Shuchi. He will get purified from inside and outside. This is what the meaning of this mantra is. It is not a mantra, it is actually an instruction. Okay, and it just tells you this much, that just by remembering Vishnu or Krishna, you can get purified. Okay, so we'll talk about this particular topic next time, but it can purify us from inside to outside. Okay, it can take us actually from the level of tamogun to sattvagun and beyond that in a jiffy. I mean, like, you'll be shocked how the things will change around you. You'll be shocked, I can tell you. Okay, it doesn't take long. I mean, just a matter of I mean, you'll be, when you look back, oh, you'll be like, oh, come on, what kind of life I had and what life I have now. When the founder of ISKCON, I don't know if you know the story, is like Srila Prabhupada. As you can see, that person in the A part of it, that person, his guru told him that, oh, go to West and preach to foreigners. Okay. And so he translated these books in English, and he went to West at 70 years of age. And then he was staying in New York, in an area where there were like only hippies who used to take drugs, who used to just on the street there, somebody is just lying there, somebody is just urine full of, and those kind of things. Was that situation was really absurd. And this person told them, like, Bhagavad Gita and chanting, and that's what he told him them, and they started doing it. And right now, if you hear one of those people, some of those people, you'll be shocked, because those people are totally transformed. I mean, they remember these scriptures by heart. They are at a mode where they cannot even eat something spicy and things like that. And they are amazing, wonderful people. Okay. Absolutely transformed. Some of them became the Sanskrit scholars. They translated more books into their native languages and things like that. Okay. So all this was possible just by following these simple rules. I mean, I can talk about variety of things. I mean, this is just a summary, basically. I can keep on talking about this subject for years and years. I mean, if you think that there is something some other solution to this, we can discuss any solution that you can think of or you have heard in your life. Okay, I'm telling you, this is the simplest solution and the most practical solution for this age. Absolutely practical. Okay, and what to chant? Okay, so we'll talk about it in next session, but I can tell you this much. There is something which is called Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Okay, which is the simplest thing that, yes, Arti, sorry.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
You can carry on. I'll ask the question later. You were saying something.
Okay. Yeah, so I was just talking about the mantra, which is simple enough and the most sublime thing, which elevates people like anything. It's and I will talk about next session why I'm talking about this mantra, when there you must have heard about hundreds of them, right? I will talk about this particular topic in the next session, but that is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, okay, which is simple. Anybody can recite it. It's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, right? And that is, it's simple enough, right? I mean, if you want, I can send it in writing also in the group. But the point is, just by reciting this mantra every day, can purify. I mean, and for the age of Kali, this is the most recommended thing. I mean, nothing easier than this. Okay, nothing easier than this, and it can be recited at any time, anywhere, anyhow, whichever way you think. Okay. Yeah, and you will see change. I mean, this is not theory. I'm telling you, Anukriti. I mean, this is not theory. Okay. As you do things, you will see
No,
the
no, I
situation.
get it.
Yeah, around you will
I
change.
mean,
For
okay,
sure.
so you're not the first person telling me this. There are other persons also जो बहुत religious हैं, जिन्होंने मतलब अपने पूजा पाठ से और बहुत सारे ऐसे संकल्प से उन्होंने बहुत कुछ experience किया है, तो उनका भी यही कहना है कि इस कलयुग में बाकी सारे मतलब ऐसा सुना है मैंने कि बाकी सारे मंत्राज लॉक्ड हैं, तो इस कलयुग में सिर्फ भगवान का नाम ही जपते रहो, वही अपने आप में बहुत मतलब बहुत ज्यादा फलदायी है.
आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हो. नेक्स्ट सेशन पूरा will only talk about this. Okay, only this topic. And exactly why is that so, and we'll talk about why that is so also, like whatever you're saying. Correct. This is the simplest way.
Yes.
Right. I mean, there are so many other things. Yes, Arti, yeah, I see your hand waving. Yes.
Yeah. So, one, you talked about that Bhagavad Gita session. So, of course, I am interested, and I would be I would want to be part of that session, because I actually feel that I need some hand holding. Earlier, also, I mean, probably in my 20s, also, I tried, and after that, also, a couple of times I have tried reading Bhagavad Gita. I would read the initial pages, and then somehow I lose interest.
Yeah.
Probably because
Same is the case with me. Same. I mean, it doesn't interest us. That she's so right. This happened with me as well.
Yeah. And now at this age or at this stage, probably like you said, association. So probably I've been associated with people like you since last 4-5 days. So probably because of that, I feel that I never tried. I mean, I don't have a deeper understanding of Bhagavad Gita, and that's why I'm losing interest. Because when for such sessions, I actually look forward to these sessions and I enjoy listening to these sessions. And I try to find the meaning out of it, the essence. I actually try to get as much possible from these sessions. So I think it's not it shouldn't be difficult for me to understand Bhagavad Gita. I feel it. I feel from inside that yes, I should get into it. So of course I need hand holding, so I would be interested in this
for sure.
Bhagavad Gita
So
session.
by the way, here we have been discussing Bhagavad Gita since last I don't know how many years, maybe around close to 1.5 2 years. We have barely completed like 2 chapters so far. It takes us some times to discuss one verse for like more than one session also, and we go deeper and we try to understand how to apply it in our life. But one thing I can tell you, and you can definitely join it, like let this set of sessions complete and we can talk about it. But one thing I can tell you is that it is not possible. This knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, as Bhagavad Gita itself says, as Krishna says, this knowledge is the king of knowledge. It says, like, Rajavidya Rajagoyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. It says that, oh, this is the king of most secrets. I mean, the most secret thing among the all the knowledge. Okay. So it is not accessible to everybody, even though you'll get this book for 100 rupees or 50 rupees also. I can give it to you for free also if you want. But you will not be able to make out. It takes something to understand it. And those are the things that I talked about. Okay, that to be able to understand it, those 4 things, I mean, if possible, should be left. If not, also it's okay. But you need a right sampradaya, and last time we talked about it. You need a right sampradaya, a right guru, right, and right book, and then only you can understand it. Otherwise, it is not accessible. The knowledge is accessible only to sampradayas. Without that, it is not accessible.
Absolutely. I think association is the most important thing, the most important. And secondly, I have a question also. Another question is that, so when you say chanting, so this association and books thing has been resolved, at least for me. Thank you.
Okay.
For chanting, I mean, I feel that how to achieve longevity, basically longevity, because we how so my question still remains that how can we develop that connectivity with God, because unless and until that we feel that connect, we may not get the pleasure that you're referring to. And if we do not get that pleasure, I mean, it may not be I mean, we may
I get your point. I get your point.
Chanting. I mean, somewhere we may stop chanting. So to achieve that pleasure, to get ourselves to feel that connect with God, how can we do it so that we do not stop chanting in between?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. See, there are multiple levels where things are done. Like, for example, when we are child, our parents tell us that, see, you have to study, and we don't find pleasure in doing that, right? But why do we do it? Maybe out of fear, maybe out of duty. Okay, because my parent has told me he loves me. My father wants me to study. Probably I'll study because he wants me to become a big person. Whatever he knows more than me, so I will do it, right? So we do it out of a duty or fear sometime, right? Gradually, when you grow up, you realize. Right now, I realize that, oh, I did the right thing. I mean, by studying, right? That was the right decision to be taken, and I'm enjoying the pleasure out of the studies that I did, because whatever, because of the money that I get, whatever XYZ, right? Just example. So the point is similar. I mean, from the first day, if we expect that you will get the pleasure, that is not the right expectation. Okay, there is much more to it than I talked about, because the chanting, if you talk about scriptures describe that, see, it is about it purifies you. But you are so ugly in the, like, right now we are carrying baggage of multiple lifetimes with us, and because it has been like that, so you cannot expect that baggage to go away in a day. It will go away, but it takes time. Until that baggage is not gone, till we actually are carrying those bad karmas, the bad desires, right, within us, then we will not find the pleasure. think about it like a mirror, right? If the mirror is not clean, you will not be able to see your face in it, and that's why we are not able to realize self and God, because the mirror has been dirty for lifetimes. So it is about that cleaning process. Think of it only like that, right? And even the scriptures say that even if you're taking the name of God, even if it is not uttered properly, even if it is not done in a with a right mood or with a right state of being, then also it works, and it will work. Just that it will work slowly, whatever it is, but it will work. It always works, and even that is good enough to purify you after a given amount of time. So you spend some time, and the pleasure will come. Okay, don't start with that thing that, oh, will I get those four hands, or will I get two wings tomorrow if I do that chanting of mantra that I was told. No, 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 you're not going to get it. Okay, but eventually it will happen. After a point, it will happen. Okay, it takes time, but it works, and this is the most reliable, the most uh, uh, sublime method of actually proceeding further.
So it's
Does it
about
make sense?
austerity. I mean, austerity that you were talking about.
Yes,
Because
think of it like
then,
think of it more like a yajna. That's something which I talked about. The sacrifice. There are many sacrifices that are described in scriptures, right? Earlier, people used to do fire sacrifice. Not doesn't make sense right now, because there are not even qualified people who can do it. There are not the mantras are not accessible to them, right? You don't understand how to do it and things like that. Right, people tried variety of things, people did variety of things in previous ages. For the age of Kali Yuga, the simplest way recommended is that you do this Sankirtan Yajna. You actually chant the name of God. That is good enough. That is really more than enough, I can tell you. It was more than enough even in the previous ages, and it's more than enough even in this age. And this is the simplest way. I mean, in I was talking about this Bhagavad Gita, about the story of Parikshit Maharaj, right? So Parikshit Maharaj and this Kali Yuga things happen, and then later Sutta Goswami, who's talking about this story, he tells, okay, Kali dosh nidher Rajan asti ko mahatguna. Like Kali Yuga has so much of faults, but there is one good thing in this Kali Yuga. Okay, and what is that? That just by taking the name of God, you can get liberated. I mean, this was not accessible in the previous ages. Previous ages, you had to do austerity for thousands of years, okay, and do all sort of things. But in this age, it has become very, very simple, and that is the good thing about Kali. Okay, just to talk specifics. But there are so many other things, but the point remains the same. I mean, like, if you, the Bhagavatam, the book I'm talking about, if you read the last verse of that book, and last verse, there are 18,000 verses. I mean, you just go and read the last verse, or I can share that. It just glorifies Krishna, and it says that, see, oh, you are such amazing that just by your name people get purified. Okay, your name is so purifying, and that is what it is all about, right? So don't expect that it will happen in a day, but it will happen. That much I promise. I mean, I can promise, I can give you my word on that.
so
I've
how
seen
much time?
people.
How much time? So suppose, see, I have all the books. Like I have Srimad Bhagavatam also. I have Bhagavad Gita also in Hindi, English both. So I have books, and I start, but then I'm not able to pursue it. So
Yeah.
how
So
much time shall I allot if I start reading? Like you said that you should start with Bhagavad Gita. If I start, then how much time should I allot in a day in I mean, how much time should I give to chanting and books?
So
Both.
here is what I will make it simpler for you. Okay, uh, I'll make it more real and simple for you. Keep attending these classes. Okay, the first thing is association. As you said, it's the most important thing. If you leave the association, I promise you'll not be able to proceed.
Correct.
Okay, no matter how hard you try. The second thing I will say is that start chanting. Okay, have faith. If nothing else, right? That it will help. Okay, and the mantra is simple, as I told you, right? Start chanting at least one round if possible every day, and diet, if possible, offer something to God, offer something to Krishna, and after offering, eat it. Okay, and that food, of course, I mean, should be in the mode of goodness, which means like without onion, garlic. At least try to do these three things. That will be good enough for me.
Yeah, but that without onion garlic thing, I actually do not understand at all.
Why?
That's something I'm not in sync. Sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, okay. We can discuss that. I mean, if you want, this it is simple. There's no problem in that. See, Bhagavad Gita describes that different type of foods bring different type of modes into you. There are sattvagun, rajogun, and tamogun. Okay, and basically different food actually create that kind of mood in you and take you into that mode. For example, if you actually read, I can share some scientific facts also on this. But the point is simple. I mean, these food which actually take you into the mode of ignorance and passion, which is like tamogun and rajogun, they take you into that mode. Okay, and which is not very conducive for spiritual growth. And there is no, it's not something that I am telling you, but anywhere you ask to any Vishnu temple you go, you will not find any food offered with onion and garlic to them. Okay, never in anywhere wherever you go. Okay, so that is what it is all about. And as I said, do not leave onion garlic. I'm not telling you to do that. All I'm asking is that try to offer something, okay, and eat it. That much is good enough.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm
one
not
level
asking.
chanting you're saying, and in terms of books.
Yeah, keep attending these classes, start chanting, offer something to God and eat it. That's good enough for now. Okay.
Okay.
For the
Thank
books,
you for simplifying it.
yeah, for the books, actually, we should go methodically. Okay. I mean, we should not jump. See, I mean, I can always tell you that, oh, start reading Bhagavad Gita. But if you don't get it, what is the point? Right. As you said. So I would rather recommend some simple books on that. I mean, there are some simple books which actually give us some sense of spirituality, more at the way we are discussing right now. Okay. And books like Bhagavad Gita should be read under guidance, under association. Okay. Trying to understand, for people who have heard, they can pass it on, and in a right way. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
not
so
saying that.
I look forward to those suggested reads that you just spoke about.
Sure, I can share that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I
Thank
can. I'll see. Yeah, because you don't live very far from me, like, so I can even drop some books in that area. But
you. Oh, I can get them picked up. I mean, that will be great.
yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, I know people who are far. I don't know what to do, but I'll share some names anyways. But the point remains the same, that it is more about that these simple things also will help us big time. Like, don't stop attending the sessions, keep chanting, eat some prasad, and that will elevate, and the situations will become conducive. I'm telling you, like Anukriti ji was saying, right? There's no one near. I'm telling you, will find somebody. I mean, there is no problem. I mean, if you're in Abu Dhabi, I can probably figure out somebody. I mean, that is not a problem. I know some people are there. I mean, couple of people are there, I know. But yeah, it's just a matter of. But this, I mean, I don't need to do any effort for doing that. I mean, like, God will arrange for all of it in some way or the other. I've seen that magic happening with so many people. I have proof here. This is not theory. Otherwise, I wouldn't expect. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Nirendra ji, I want to ask you one more thing. जब भी भगवान का नाम आता है तो मेरे अंदर पता नहीं क्यों शिव जी को लेके बहुत ज्यादा होता है कि मतलब मैं उनका नाम लूं, उनको ही याद करूं, उनकी मतलब जब होता है कि आपको जब भगवान याद करने, आप भगवान को याद करते हैं तो शिव जी का नाम ही पहले आता है, तो लाइक is it right or like I know it's not wrong but मतलब ऐसा क्यों होता है, मतलब मुझे उनका ही नाम क्यों आता है?
See, I mean, some part of it is our upbringing, some part of it is like because we don't know fully well कि ये सब इतने सारे क्यों हैं, मतलब like there are so many देवी देवतास, right, that are there, right, and then we say there is one God. Okay, मतलब भगवान कोई तो है और बाकी सब देवी देवता भी हैं बहुत सारे, right? What is right, what is wrong, because we have not logically tried to understand this from the scriptures. Bhagavad Gita has answers. Srimad Bhagavatam has answers. There are so many books who have this answer. Just that and it's a sensitive topic because this is what it is. I really want to worship this person. Why should I not do that? No, go ahead, do that. No, nobody's saying you don't do it. But we have to understand what it is all about, right? I mean, if you think I really like to hear spirituality from my grandmother, right? And because that's what I like doing. Okay, go ahead, do it. I'll not say anything that don't do it, but we have to understand that who's the authority, right? And as I said, ki, only sampradayas have access to knowledge. There's nobody else who has access to knowledge. I can repeat that.
जैसे
So there's no
जब
problem.
मैं अपने
He's like, a very, very elevated personality, and such an elevated personality who can elevate anybody who is extremely fallen can be elevated by him. He's such a person and very, very merciful. As per scriptures, I'm not making up anything that emotional. I'm just telling you the scriptures. So very merciful and totally capable of elevating even the most fallen people. Yes, but we have to understand ki, oh, by the way, I really am. What we are discussing, the plane at which we are discussing this whole thing is at the level that I want to go out. I am a soul. I want to go out of this world. Right? What is the way to do that? Okay, is there a way to do it? Scriptures clearly say, okay, that these are the recommended mantras that you have to recite. This is the deity that you have to worship. There's no other way. Okay, you have to understand. We have not talked about who's Bhagwan by the way so far, and wait for a session. We'll talk about that topic after next session. Next session, we'll talk about Bhagwan hai kya. Really, so far we have talked about abstract concepts, so that leaves us with anybody is a Bhagwan. No, not everybody is a Bhagwan. You must have heard this, right? Sabka Malik ek hai. So it has to be one, right? One person only. Who's that one person, and why, and what is the logic behind it? What is the scriptural basis behind it? And we'll talk about all of that. Just that, and that's why I said, like, for now, if you have faith, you can hear what I'm saying. But the point is, like, we are at a level where we are trying to get out of this problem, right? We are not trying to just uh, get a better life, only this life and next life struggle, or we don't know what we are doing types. We are doing something because somebody told us and I like doing it. No, I'm not at that level, right? I'm just talking scriptures purely without any emotions.
ये जो इष्ट देव वाला कॉन्सेप्ट है हमारे इसमें कि इष्ट देव होते हैं सबके, आप अपना चुन सकते हैं। तो जैसे मेरे अंदर से एक आवाज आती, ओके सो आई टेल यू, बीच में ना मुझे साईं बाबा में बहुत ज्यादा वो था, फेथ था। तो पर पता नहीं अचानक से क्या हुआ, मेरा मतलब अब मुझे ऐसा फील होता है मेरा फेथ डगमगा गया है। जबकि अगर मैं साईं बाबा से कुछ भी प्रे कर दूं तो वो हो जाता था, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, मे बी इट वाज माय फेथ। सो बीच में उनमें मुझे काफी फेथ था, बट अब वो फेथ डगमगा गया, आई डोंट नो हाउ। मुझे शिव जी में अपने आप इंटरेस्ट हो गया, मतलब बहुत ही ज्यादा, मतलब आई कैन नॉट इवन एक्सप्रेस। पर मैं हर चीज में मेरे जुबान पे जो पहला वो आता है वो शिव जी का ही आता है। मुझे ऐसा लगता है जैसे शिव जी ही लाइक ही इज द फादर, ही इज द यूनिवर्स, मुझे ऐसी फीलिंग आती है, पता नहीं क्यों।
Yeah,
तो
like there's no problem. I'm telling you, there's no problem. Shivji is like very, very elevated, more elevated than I'm explaining basically. The point that I'm making is that कि ये ना feelings and emotions का game नहीं है. Spirituality is not about feeling and emotions. Spirituality is about
Okay.
following the spiritual master. Spirituality is about गुरु का बात को सुन के understanding, trying it out, getting into trouble, asking questions, resolving it, and asking questions, and then following it. Okay, it is like that. It is as scientific as anything is, right? I cannot say ki, "Arey, today I feel like becoming a doctor right today, or I feel like doing something else." No, I cannot do it, right? I'm not trained for that. And if I want to become a doctor, I'll have to get trained for becoming a doctor. There is a level that Shivji will definitely take us, and way beyond it, and he'll show us the way beyond it also. There's no problem in doing that. But what I am telling you is that what is the juice of the scriptures, okay, right now, and I'll be able to I'll elaborate on these topics next time, definitely, about whose name we take and whose name we don't take, and why to take name also, and what is the logic behind it. I will talk about all of that next time, I promise. Okay, I will.
Okay.
But this is just the summary, so that I don't waste your 1 week, and this is just the summary.
Okay.
So have faith in me, and Shivji is not unaligned with what I'm saying. That much also I can promise. Okay, if you see Shivji is like, in a dhyan of someone, right? He's just meditating. On whose name is he? What is he meditating on? Have you ever inquired? Okay, have you ever, that thought came to your mind, what is he meditating on?
Rama.
ओम
Rama.
अच्छा, ओके, शिव जी वाज मेडिटेटिंग, ओके।
Shivji is meditating. Yes.
हाँ, ये मैंने सुना है कि शिव जी भी खुद विष्णु जी की पूजा करते हैं, या मतलब
want to go die in Banaras, and why? Because Shivji will come and chant a name in your ear, and then you can get liberated. And what is that name? That is the name of Ram. Okay, so he's not out of sync. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam has a shloka, very beautiful shloka. It says, Nimna nam yatha Ganga, Deva nam achyutam adita, Vaishnava nam yatha Shambhu, Purana nam idam mama. So it glorifies itself. It says in Puranas, I am the one. Okay, how, what kind of level is my in all the Puranas? It says Nimna nam yatha Ganga. All the rivers, the way the Ganga is in terms of all the rivers. Okay, how you treat Ganga in with all the rivers. Or it says Devanam Achyutam Yatha, like all the devatas, how the Vishnu is. Okay, and it says Vaishnava Nam Yatha Shambhu. In all the Vaishnavas, the followers of Vishnu, like the worshippers of Vishnu, the level of Shivji, Vaishnava Nam Yatha Shambhu. Okay, that is, and it says Purana Nam Idamama. Like that is the level. If you think of all the rivers, like the way Ganga is, of all the devatas, how the Vishnu is, of all the Vaishnavas, how the Shambhu is. Okay, and that is how I am in all the Puranas. This is the verse which comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so Shivji is not unaligned with what I'm saying. I promise. Okay, not at all. I mean, not at all.
तो मतलब सारे देवी देवता भगवान सिर्फ इंडिया में ही थे, क्योंकि पहले इंडिया तो बाद में बना ना, इंसानों ने डिफाइन किया इंडिया, पहले तो वो पूरा एक लैंड मास था.
Yes. Okay, all that theory. Okay, so I'll tell you one thing. If you actually read about Vaman Dev was not in this earth. Okay, Bali Maharaj was not in this earth, the way we understand that. Okay. So there are so many other incarnations which didn't happen in this earth also. Okay, Hansa Avatar didn't happen in this earth. Okay, so basically, no, it is not like that. I mean, like that. India mein hi sab kuch hua. Of course not. I mean, if you read enough, you will figure out that in South America, in Germany, in Russia, they are finding some of the deities here and there, right? How is that happening? So it's not only about India, not at all. It is more than that. It is in fact not even about this earth also. Okay, avatars happened and they keep happening all over the place. It's not even about this universe also. They happen even outside this universe. And why do they happen? Oh, just to give us a glimpse of what it is like in spiritual world. Like Amitabh Bachchan's movie, if you see, right, one day he comes in a Janjeer movie, one day he comes in the Shahenshah, one day he comes in some other movie, so that we really like him, or we want to like be like him and things like that, right? And similarly, God, because he loves us so much, he actually keeps on coming and showing us a glimpse of see how it is like in spiritual world. This is the kind of fun we have. Okay, this is the kind of protection I give. Okay, this is how you can worship me. Okay, this is how you can remember me. Otherwise, what will we remember? And that is the reason why he comes. There is no other reason why he comes in so many avatars. If he just if it would have been just about killing the demons, he could have killed them sitting outside also. He doesn't need to come to just kill one small demon. I mean, or like if he's God, the demons don't matter that much, right? So that is the reason why he comes. Okay, what else?
तो मतलब जैसे गंगा जी हमारे यहाँ पे है होली रिवर, मतलब बाकी देशों में भी ऐसे होंगे ना कुछ होली रिवर्स जो.
Yes. Do you know अगर Russia में they have something called as Russian Vedas. Okay,
Russian Vedas.
Google for it. Okay, or I can share that.
Oh.
And you'll be surprised that those Vedas actually talk about Indra, about some holy rivers. In fact, the rivers that are there in Russia, they actually can be translated to some of the Sanskrit words. Okay, Google for it. There is a lot of material out there. Okay, in Russian, in English, and all over. So the point is, yes, I mean, it is the previous stages when it was said ki Parikshit, I was talking about King Parikshit, and it is mentioned, scriptures mentioned that he was the king of this world, of this entire world. Okay, and that means not just India, it means actually this entire world. Okay, there used to be king like that, right? And that is how it used to be earlier times. But God, he's more beyond the earth also. We talked about those 14 planetary systems, right? 14 bhuvan, right? Last time I showed you a picture that there are 14 such things: Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, Patal, and things like that. And Brahm Lok, Jan Lok, Tap Lok, Mar Lok. right? Those things we talked about, right? There are so many of them. So they are out of Earth. Even the Mrityu Lok, or the level that we live in, that is not just one. Earth is also not one. There are many such planets where human-like species live. Okay, that is as per the scriptures. So it is more magical than we understand, and God keeps on coming in all of them. And it is actually, scriptures tell even the time and the date and things like that. Everything is documented. Okay, when he will come and things like that, all of that.
तो मतलब एलियंस हैं, क्योंकि एलियंस कौन है, मतलब दे आर स्ट्रेंजर्स जो दूसरे प्लैनेट्स पे हैं, देयर आर डिफरेंट अर्थ्स, और वो लोग आते हैं तो मतलब वो हमसे ज्यादा एडवांस्ड हैं.
So actually scriptures talk about that souls are everywhere. Okay, everywhere, in places that we cannot even imagine. Okay. If I elaborate more on this topic, you will be baffled. But the point is that just think about your toilet, this thing, right? I mean, in the places where which are very, very dirty, somewhere toilet, you'll see some kind of trees growing, some kind of fungus growing. That's why I'm saying that it's better to get out of this world. This world is a miserable place. Do you want to grow near a toilet like a tree next life, right? No, right? So the point is exactly that is the kind of life forms that exist, and they exist everywhere. Sometimes we are able to perceive it, and they exist in different forms. Just to make it more baffling, is that, as I said, that there are 8 elements, right? Earth, air, water, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. In different planets, the entities actually exist in different forms also. There may be a place where the entity exists completely as mind. Okay.
Okay.
Which is baffling. Or what does it mean, right? Or
No,
somewhere
I understand. They must be talking through telepathy. Things must be done.
no,
Everything
they
on.
exist. Their body is of mind only. Okay.
Okay, so only mind exists. There's no body.
Yeah. The body is of mind.
Okay.
There may be a body which is made up of fire. There may be a body which may be made up of water, or a combination of some of them.
Okay.
So it's baffling, but that's how scriptures explain it. That any combination of these 8 elements can form a body, and the entities could exist. And so the places where we think that there are no aliens, there may be some. Okay. That is the outcome of this theory. But anyway, so much of this, as I said, like I mean, this may go into a different direction of discussion. But the point is, yes, I mean, there are entities or living entities. There are so many of them all over the place, as per scriptures. As I said, I'm not talking about anything else. We talked about Shabda Pramana is the authority last time, and we are only talking, going from now on, from this session onward, we are only going to talk in terms of Shabda Pramana. I'll only give examples from scriptures, verses from scriptures, and proofs from them. And I will try to explain them to you. That's the only thing I will do, nothing else. I will only repeat whatever I've heard.
No,
Yeah.
but you answered me in a very different way. I just wanted to know, aliens according to scriptures हैं या नहीं है? मतलब scriptures में mention हुआ होगा ना
Huh?
aliens का?
Yes, yes.
मतलब है, aliens होते हैं. और जैसे मतलब हम लोग को बताया जाता है कि यूएफओज देखे गए, वो आ रहे अर्थ पे, तो मतलब वो वैसे ही है, स्क्रिप्चर्स में भी वैसे ही डिफाइंड है.
Green men's with two this thing like that. Not
आई
necessarily.
मीन
See, yeah.
नो मतलब वो हमसे बहुत ज्यादा एडवांस्ड है, टेक्नोलॉजिकली हमसे बहुत ज्यादा एडवांस्ड है. सो तो मतलब क्या स्क्रिप्चर्स में भी ऐसे डिफाइंड है कि मतलब दूसरे अर्थ पे भी कुछ मतलब जीव होंगे जो हमसे भी ज्यादा एडवांस्ड होंगे और वो इस अर्थ पे आएंगे, कि ये सब है ऐसा?
Yes. So see, as I said, right, there are many lokas. Okay. And talking about Brahmalok, Janlok, Taplok, Maharlok, those are very higher level of entities exist there. Swarglok and all. Those entities, they are the living entities, they are very advanced. So these devas are also living entities like us. Okay. But they are way advanced. So the one way that people take is that I will worship this Devi Devata and this, that, whatever. By doing that, you can go to the higher planets. It is possible. But you don't go out of this whole thing. Okay. Because from there, after you exhaust your karmas, you will come back. Okay. And again, by doing good karmas, you can go there. And things like that. So you keep on cycling here. So that is possible. It is an easy journey to other planets. You don't need a plane to go there. But by doing this, you can go there. But the way I'm talking about here, is actually how to get out of this place. And that is the more important knowledge to understand, right? Because okay, by as devtas, as siddhas, I can go up and I can enjoy, but will I really be able to enjoy eternally? No, there is a time limit for everything. Okay.
तो जो लोग मतलब इस अर्थ पे हैं जो एज अ सोल, वो ऐसा पॉसिबल है कि दूसरे अर्थ पे उनका जन्म हो जाए?
हाँ, yeah, possible. Yes.
Okay. और वो किस बेसिस पे होता है, किस बेसिस पे ये डिसाइड होता है कि अब ये वाला सोल इस मतलब इस अर्थ पे भेज दो या इस प्लैनेट पे भेज दो, वो किस बेसिस पे होता है?
Everything is decided based on only two things: our desires and whether we deserve it or not. Okay. So our karmas and our desires. That is what decides.
Okay.
There are prescribed path. I mean, there are prescribed ways in Vedas to actually go to any of these planes. Okay. Like if you want to become an Indra, there is a prescribed path. You have to do 100 Ashwamedh Yagyas and you can become an Indra. That's easy. I mean, like not easy, but it is recommended.
No.
So that way. So, yeah. So Vedas talk about all of this. I mean, in fact, what you must be wondering, what does this Rig Veda, Yajurveda, they talk about? They talk about a lot of it. But what I'm talking about is
कौन चाहता होगा इंद्र बनना? मतलब कौन इंसान चाहेगा इंद्र बनना, या कौन इंसान चाहेगा अग्निदेव बनना? I'm still wondering.
I mean, yeah, we don't understand because these people. I mean, do you know what Indra is actually? He's the king of these devatas. King. I mean, you know, it's hard to imagine what level of luxuries do they get. I mean, it is what with us actually. If we actually do something nasty, okay, in the night, in the morning we suffer, right? If you imagine a body where you can unlimitedly try those things and you don't suffer, just think about such a body. Okay, the kind of body that they get is where they can try to derive much more pleasure than what we can. And
तो
similarly,
मतलब वो लोग जिनको एक्सपेरिमेंट पे एक्सपेरिमेंट करना है पर उनको रिपरकशंस नहीं चाहिए.
the problem is that, correct, I mean, think about it like, you know, that I want to enjoy, right? That is a desire that most of the people have. If you want to enjoy more, you want to become maybe a devta or a Indra, yeah, you can enjoy more there, right? But for a limited time. Like us, they also have a limited life. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I'm talking about is that if you want to enjoy forever, eternally, then this is the path where you can actually enjoy eternally without getting tired of it. Okay.
सपोज कोई ऐसे सोचता है कि एंजॉयमेंट एंड ऑल तो नहीं, बट आई डोंट वांट सफरिंग. सपोज कोई इस तरीके से सोचता है, मतलब एक तरीका है कि यू वांट टू एंजॉय, एक तरीका है कि क्योंकि अभी कलयुग में इतना देखने को सुनने को मिल रहा है, पता नहीं अगले कुछ 100 सालों में पता नहीं और क्या क्या देखने को सुनने को मिले, और भी ज्यादा इस अर्थ की कंडीशन और बुरी होने वाली है. तो कोई इंसान सोचता है कि मुझे तो पैदा ही नहीं होना एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग, या इस अर्थ पे पैदा ही नहीं होना है, तो ताकि वो सफरिंग ना झेलनी पड़े. तो क्या ये भी तो एक अप्रोच हो सकता है ना? मतलब अ पर्सन इज नॉट थिंकिंग अबाउट एंजॉयिंग, बट अ पर्सन इज ट्राइंग टू थिंकिंग ऑफ गेटिंग रिड ऑफ सफरिंग्स, या फिर आगे और जो भयानक होने वाला है वो मुझे नहीं देखना सुनना.
Yeah, yes. So there are two levels, right? I mean, there is a number line. Have you seen, right? There's a number line where there is a 0 and there is a negative numbers and there is a positive number. So right now we are in a negative axis, right? And then comes something which is a point of 0, which is called peace. Okay, I want peace. Then there is a positive axis, which is of the level of happiness, right? That I want to be happy because I have had enough. So the point is that, okay, yes, you can get. If you can get happiness, why do you want peace, right? Why do you want to be in the 0 if you can get a positive thing? But conclusion of both are same. I mean, if you want eternally any of this, okay, then you have to get out of this material world. There is no other option, because otherwise it is possible in this universe, it is possible to get to a plane where you can get some amount of happiness, some amount of peace, but beyond a point it is not going to work. And sorry, by the way, everyone, we are done with the session, and we were done with the session one hour back. So if you want to drop out, feel free to do that. But yeah, I mean, I'm open for the questions just for people who join new. We can keep talking for another few hours. Does it make sense that, for eternally at any point, if you want to do it, then you have to go out of this material world. This entire material world, as Bhagavad Gita describes, is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. That is, this is a world of misery and dukkhalayam. Like, Himalaya is a house of ice. Similarly, dukkhalaya is the house of misery. So this is how this world is. And ashashvatam. So by the way, even if you'll say, no, I get some kind of pleasure. So even if you get that, it is not eternal. It is a ashashvatam. It's not shashvat. It means, like, it is not eternal. So this is a world of misery. If you get some pleasure, it will be flickering. Okay. So that is how this world is, right? So if you want to get out of it, then only you can experience the eternal peace and happiness. And last time we talked about it also. So, like, the spiritual world doesn't have a concept of time. So everything is eternal. Whatever is there, it's like that. There's happiness, there's happiness. Okay.
पर मेरा सवाल ये था कि क्या ये अप्रोच रखना, क्या इस तरीके से सोचना, न्यूट्रल होना, लाइक आई डोंट वांट हैप्पीनेस बट आई डोंट वांट मिजरीज आल्सो, आई वांट टू बी न्यूट्रल, तो क्या ये अप्रोच सही है? क्योंकि अभी हैप्पीनेस का तो आई हैव नो आइडिया, मतलब बीइंग अ अ ले मैन पर्सन लाइक मी, मतलब जिसको
I
कुछ भी
explained
नहीं
what
पता.
happiness means after 2-3 sessions, actually. What our happiness
Okay.
is. But the point is still remains the same. If you want something eternal, it is not possible in this world. Yeah. Thanks, Atikesh. Yeah. So it is not possible in this world. Okay. Nothing is eternal here. Everything is temporary, no matter what, whether you like it or not. And the peace is not the best place to be. I mean, if you think about it, right? I mean, see, if you had a fight with your husband and he goes out after having a fight, you feel a bit peaceful, right? You think that, oh, it's okay, chalo, 50 minutes, right? Thodi der ke liye, right? You feel peaceful, but that is not happiness, right? I'm just telling you the difference. But if your the same husband comes back with a gift, right, and you have a nice dinner with him and things like that, you'll feel happy, right? And that happiness is better than the
Yes.
peace that you experience, right? So if you are getting happiness, nobody wants peace, by the way, just to tell you. But whether you want peace or whether you want happiness, you cannot get it in this world eternally. For some time it's possible, not always. Does it make
Okay,
sense?
I get it. So basically, getting rid of suffering is in negatives, then being neutral is zero, and then it being in positive, like 1, 2, 3, is happiness, immense happiness.
Correct.
और
Correct.
वो मुझे समझ में आएगा जब आप 2, 3 और सेशंस में आप समझाएंगे कि हैप्पीनेस एक्चुअली है क्या,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's
Because
logical.
right now I have no picture of happiness.
But I explained you, right? I mean, when your husband, you have a nice
Yes.
time with him, you feel happy, right? It's simple. And with your
Yeah,
kids,
but
I mean,
spiritual life.
yeah, we get happiness by
Okay,
interaction, by the way.
so see, understanding something and feeling or experiencing something is different. So
Yeah. Yeah. But you have
like सिर्फ
experienced
समझ
happiness, right?
लेना logic.
Yeah. That's why I give an example of your husband. Think about it. You must have experienced it some time or the other. So that is
नहीं, मेरा
possible.
पति तो अगर बाहर चला जाए तो मुझे और टेंशन हो जाएगी कि कहाँ गया, सही सलामत घर में बैठा रहे, क्यों गया.
Yeah, no, that is okay. That's a good.
मेरे आंखों के सामने रहे.
Yeah, that's a
I
possible outcome. But you think about if you had a fight with him, right? I mean, would you still want him to be in front of your eyes and things like that?
हाँ, मैं तो, क्योंकि फिर और चिंताएं सताएंगी ना, अगर मतलब गुस्से में इंसान घर से निकला है, लड़ाई झगड़ा हुआ, तो फाइट एंड ऑल तो टेम्पररी है, पर
Right.
वो तो रिजॉल्व हो जाएगा, बट दैट पर्सन शुड बी इन फ्रंट ऑफ माय आईज, आई थिंक वो ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाता है फिर.
Yeah. I was just giving an example, by the way. I will not be able to solve this specific.
नहीं, मैं समझ गई.
Yeah, that is good enough. Yeah, got it. ठीक है. Okay. What else? Tell me. What else? Any other question?
नहीं, मेरे
Yeah, sure.
क्वेश्चंस अभी
Hi.
खत्म हो गए.
Am I
Thank you.
audible?
Yes, you're audible.
I really enjoyed this interaction, which normally, two of you have, because
Okay.
there's a lot of natural curiosity that Anubhuti puts forward, and the patience with which you answer it really helps a lot to to bring things in perspective.
No.
It's really helpful. And therefore, I possibly am to suggest that yeah, because it's almost an infinite conversation. If you put a timeline to it, it would engage more people like myself to
I don't know
actually
what is the right way. So actually,
yeah
that is why the timeline is 6:30. I mean, the problem is of course, this discussion happen, and that's why I always say that feel free to drop off, and all of this is getting recorded, whatever discussion we
yeah
are having, right? So at any point, it can be referred. Ideally, of course, uh, I love talking, on this subject, but of course, at the same time, I totally agree and understand and respect the time of others. And that's why I said, feel free to drop off. And that's why I'm recording this whole thing. There's no other purpose of recording it. I'm not going to upload it to YouTube or show it to the world and things like that. It's just so that people can refer to it later if they want to, right? That is the only purpose. Yeah, but do understand.
I
But and at the
and
same time, I'm enthusiastic enough, if somebody has a doubt, I do not want to deprive them of answers or things that I know or that have been told, right? Happy
yeah,
to do whatever I can.
absolutely, I'm with you. But in fact, I can totally understand it, and I myself enjoys really being part of this live conversation. That you know, even though sometimes I compromise on other appointments, but I like to continue in this conversation as long as it goes live. Thank you so much to
Thank
not just both of you, but everyone who's present. It really makes a lot of difference.
you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining. Any other questions or yeah, we're done.
Mm, Thank you so much, Narendra. I mean, she's absolutely right. You have been so patient with all my questions.
No, it's okay.
कभी कभी
I'm
लगता
not.
है बीच में ये ना बोलते कि आप ये कहाँ से लाती हैं ऐसे सवाल.
I
So yeah,
actually
thank
feel
you.
very proud of your presence, Anupriti, the way you put forward, really
Okay,
genuine curiosity that many of us, including myself, may have, but we possibly don't give it words. So you possibly are
okay.
voice of other people present in the session. Your presence is
Thank you
highly
so
valuable.
much.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
asking
you
this question.
so much. Thank you.
What can I answer if I don't have a question? I mean, there's so many things to tell, but just that somebody should be there to ask. Yeah, yeah. Aarti ji, you have your hand up. Tell me.
Yeah, so I actually can relate to Anukriti what she's saying, the happiness that she's talking about, and the same pleasure I was asking you about, that how can we attain that pleasure if we start chanting and everything? Because if we do not get, I mean, an iota of that pleasure, then it becomes difficult to that it breaks the continuity.
Yeah,
So I can, of course, I can relate to the happiness that she was referring to, and
I yeah, I can
yes.
tell you a technical answer to it. I mean, if you want now, I can tell you the answer. Okay. Do you want that answer now? Or sorry, you complete your question.
No, no. I just wanted. So, like they said that I, of course, I also appreciate this. And the best thing that I like about this session, and especially you, is that there is so much clarity. You have so much clarity. I mean, whatever we ask, you are so clear. And probably, I mean, whatever with whatever goals you have in mind, you're so clear in those.
Yeah, thank you. No greatness of me. Actually, this is, as I said, this is, I'm just repeating, by the way, what I've heard in Parampara. Okay. There is absolutely no greatness in me. I mean, I would, in fact, if I have to glorify someone, I will actually glorify my guru for that. I mean, Ashil Prabhupada, who actually translated these books in such a nice way that a person like me can speak confidently on these subjects. That is what it is. Otherwise, I'm not trained by profession into this. I mean, I'm not a sadhu baba or anything of that sort. That is the glory of this parampara of the acharyas, because they have just distilled this whole thing into a very simplified way to understand. Otherwise, what I'm showing this slide, actually people spend lifetimes to understand this simple facts. I'm telling you this much. I mean, it's not easy, and I can tell you 50 stories around it and 20 shlokas around it and things like that. But this is like the distill of all the Vedic knowledge. Okay. And I can elaborate. each of them for anyway, yeah.
पर
But,
पर वो जो आप टेक्निकल आंसर देने वाले थे वो तो आप दे के ही अब जाइए।
ठीक है, तो
आपने
I'll tell
बोला
you
ना
what.
अभी आरती जी को कि आप
बिल्कुल
या
हाँ, आई एम ऑल्सो
Yeah.
वेटिंग।
Yeah. So essentially, क्या होता है ना कि you cannot get pleasure in a day. Do not expect that. The scriptures describe that there are some stages of spiritual life. Okay. Now the first stage is called Adau Shraddha. And so it is like this: Adau Shraddha, Sadhu Sang, Anarth Nivritti, Bhajan Kriya, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prem. Okay. These are the stages. Okay. Now what is Adau Shraddha? Oh, you got some faith by hearing from a person like me. You got some faith that, oh, let me do something. Okay. When you do that, then what you do is like you associate with sadhu sangha. You do some association, and what with them you do the chanting, you do the bhajan kriya. Okay, as you do that, you get anartha nivritti, which is like you get purified. And once you get purified, only beyond that point the nishtha will come, that you see that, oh, I actually got purified. There is like some faith will come, a strong faith will come. Okay, and nishtha, after nishtha, the ruchi, the interest is there. Okay, and then the asakti, you get drawn up to that thing. I mean, like, no matter what, you get pulled into that thing. Okay, asakti, and then bhava, and then you really get that feelings. Okay, and then comes the prem, the love. Okay, I've actually, the way I've explained it is like a very layman's language. It is much more elaborate and much more complicated than what I explained, but the point remains the same, that do not expect that without getting purified you are going to be able to to cherish it, to be able to feel that pleasure or that love. It is not going to come. We have a dirty mirror with us, which is from lifetimes we have been doing some things which are not good, and till you purify that, do not expect that you'll be able to experience that love. Right now we are in so much in that, so much stuck in the karma thing, right? That some good, some bad, things like that, it keeps on going, repeating in a cycle. It is not, you do not expect that to happen. What is going to happen is that gradually you will see the difference. I mean, as I said, these three things you keep doing. Do not miss classes. Just do your chanting. At least start some chanting for the Maha Mantra that I told you, and at least do some offering to God, to Krishna, Vishnu, and eat that prasad. Do it for some time. You will yourself see the difference. That much I can promise. This much I can promise you sitting here for sure, and that will happen. I've
actually
seen people who have
actually
left intoxication. I've seen people whose nature personality have changed. I've seen people who didn't had association and who actually found association like anything with the right people. I've seen so many other type of people in my life. I mean, interacting with them. Yeah, go ahead.
हाँ, सो एक्चुअली धीरेन्द्र जी होता क्या है ना कि सपोज आपको कुछ गोल अचीव करना है, तो आपने वो गोल देख लिया, फिर आप उस तक पहुंचने के लिए फिर आप रास्ते चुनते हैं, राइट? तो आप जिस इमेंस हैप्पीनेस की बात करें, क्योंकि हम लोग तो एक बहुत ही तुच्छ प्राणी कह लीजिए, अभी तो हम लोग को तो कुछ भी नहीं पता है, लाइक वी डोंट इवन एबीसीडी ऑफ स्पिरिचुअलिज्म। तो हमको जब तो हम लोग को क्या है, क्योंकि हम लोग ऐसे लाइक नेचुरली भी हम ऐसे है कि हमको एम्बिशन दिखेगा तब हम रास्ते चुनते हैं, राइट? अब इमेंस हैप्पीनेस अगर हमारा गोल है, अगर हमारा एम है, तो हमको वो दिख तो रहा नहीं ना, हमको वो फील हो रहा है, अब हमको लेकिन रास्ता चुनना है। तो बस यानी मतलब बस यही है कि हमको आपकी बातों को विश्वास करना है, मतलब वी हैव टू फॉलो नॉट ओनली यू, एनीबॉडी, लाइक अगर हमको स्पिरिचुअल, तो हम जिसको भी गुरु मानते उसकी बातों पे हमको विश्वास करना है, हमको एम या जो हमारा एम्बिशन वो ऐसे नहीं दिखेगा, राइट?
देखिए, that is why I said Adho Shraddha is the first step. Okay, unless you have that much, you're not going to do anything, right? And one thing I am telling you, and keep it in, like, put it wherever you want to write it, just write it down. That last time what we told, right, that without following a proper parampara, without following a proper guru, without understanding the proper scriptures that have been prescribed, nobody can make spiritual progress. Okay. And
Okay.
the parampara or the guru does not mean that some person, some just sprang up and said that, oh, I have all the knowledge. I just got realized yesterday night and I'm going to teach you. No, it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. The only way it can work is that you have to spend years hearing from your guru, understanding it, practicing it, and again asking questions and doubts and things like that. That is the only way. Okay. And you will get self-realized. I'm telling you. I mean, like,
तो
yeah, go ahead.
हम लोग को तो आप मिल गए, हम लोग को तो मतलब कोई ना कोई मिल गया, पर व्हाट अबाउट अदर्स, बाकी जो लोग नाइव हैं, जो इग्नोरेंट है, जिनको कुछ पता ही नहीं है, बस जिंदगी जिए जा रहे हैं, और चलो
Yeah.
बड़ों ने सिखा दिया तो पूजा पाठ किए जा रहे हैं, बट दे डोंट नो, तो उनका क्या होगा? मतलब अगर ये ऐसे ही था तो मतलब भगवान को कुछ ऐसा इंतजाम करना चाहिए था ना, कुछ ऐसा करना चाहिए था कि बाकी सारे लोग को भी मतलब उनको एक पुश मिले, या एक कुछ मिले कि वहां तक वो पहुंच पाए।
Yeah, yes.
मतलब आप
So
समझ रहे हैं ना
actually,
मेरा सवाल क्या है?
why do you think, what is the motivation
हाँ,
for me to do this session? Why am I doing?
what why
Engagement seva.
Uh,
The
I'm
E.
doing it for.
The E.
I'm doing it.
engagement?
Engagement seva.
Yeah, yeah. That is one way to understand it. But why this seva only? There are so many other sevas I could have done. Right. I'm doing
Maybe
it
you
for those
want to
people.
make people aware.
Yeah, to spread
Yeah,
the knowledge basically. So that
correct. Yeah, to understand, to exactly the same thing. I mean, the same motivation that you are saying, right? How will others get to know? What I realize, what how will others get to know about it? Right. But by the way, I can tell you one thing. The If you're asking about God, why He did all of this, why He has left us like this, see, think about the scriptures that have been given to us. Think about so many incarnations that come, right? Think about so many saints who have come. Okay, in this age also, right now there is a Vedic culture, right now there are great saints. Okay, why do they come? Because if the saint is great, why is he supposed to be in this world? He's not supposed to be in this world, right? He should be back there, right? Why is he sitting here teaching us?
Yes.
So those are the arrangements that have been done for us only. It is us who don't want to listen. I mean, think about people who stand in the street trying to distribute Bhagavad Gita. How many people ridicule them? Okay, why that? Like, they think that they are doing some kind of business or whatever, I don't know what, right? What is the purpose? Why are they standing here in the street trying to distribute? All of them are well educated people. So that is the arrangement that Krishna does for us. In fact, I can tell you one thing, as I told you, I mean, if you actually get into this path now, it is almost like you will see as if you are in a roller coaster ride which is happening on its own. Okay, God will arrange things which will not make sense sometimes. Okay. Right now we are
Okay.
talking. You will get your own experiences. That much I can tell
Okay.
you. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't be wasting time like this. So that's
No, that. No.
yeah. Arti, you have your hand raised.
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry. Would be my last question. So just to add to what Anukriti said, I mean, we people actually are blessed because we are able to devote time, attend the session, and give time. Basically, what about the people who are actually struggling for their basic survival needs or their basic necessities? What about how will their souls be uplifted?
Yeah.
So will they remain like how will
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'll tell you what, like, when or same thing for Anukriti ji was saying. So basically, क्या होता है कि there is something called as law of karma. Okay, if you actually do bad karmas, you are going to go down. If you do good karmas, you're going to go up. This is simple logic, right? So the person who is actually suffering right now, not able to meet the basic needs, they must have done something because of which they are suffering. There's a reason behind all of this. This universe, nothing happens by chance, or nowhere nothing happens by chance. Okay, so for such people, yes, they will get uplifted. I mean, how? Maybe by chance they will do something good. Okay, it's just, and that is why human life is very important. You got a life, I mean, right now, which is because of, like, you got enough good family, lot of money, some intelligence, and scriptures and things like that. That intelligence and money and everything is for a purpose. And if we don't utilize it for right thing, if we keep on doing wrong things, then we will going to go down again, okay, in the evolution, and we'll again start from the basics. So they will elevate. Like for example, sometimes we go and distribute prasad to people. Okay, some person might eat it, may get some good karmas, may get elevated in the next life, things like that. So it's a long process. It's a very tedious process. It takes lifetimes after lifetime. But if you got a chance in this life, we should definitely make use of it. We should not let it go. Next time, whether we will get this kind of condition damage, we are not sure. So this should be utilized
So
properly.
तो ये हम ये सिंपल वर्ड्स में कह सकते हैं कि ये हमारे कर्मा है जो हमको इस जन्म में ये मिल रहा है, ये सेशन मिल रहा है
Yes.
गीता का, हम थोड़ा बहुत जान पाएंगे या स्पिरिचुअलिज्म के बारे में थोड़ा, तो ये हमारे कर्म है किसी जन्म के या मे भी पिछले जन्म के। तो
You are like
और जिन
very
लोग
great
इससे
karmas, right?
डिप्राइव्ड हैं
You have no
और
idea.
जो लोग
Hmm. You have no idea how lucky you are. Okay, you have absolutely no idea. I'm telling you. Okay. And
ओके,
later when you
तो
you
जैसे
realize
मेरे
it after
हस्बैंड के
2 years.
पास टाइम नहीं है,
Hmm.
जैसे मेरे हस्बैंड के पास टाइम नहीं है, उनको इसमें कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, वो उनके अपने कर्मा है, मे बी
Hmm.
इन सम अदर लाइफ ही विल बी ऑन द सेम पेज, मे बी
Yeah.
उनके अपने कुछ कर्मा ऐसे हो जाएंगे, पर अभी इट इज नॉट द राइट टाइम फॉर हिम। एंड
Yes.
फॉर ऑल दोज पीपल आउट देयर इन द वर्ल्ड जो लोग अभी इस चीज से बहुत दूर हैं, तो वो उनकी अपनी नियति है, वो निर्धारित है, एंड मे बी इन देयर टाइम लाइन दे विल गेट टू दैट लेवल सम
Yes.
टाइम, राइट?
Yes. Yes. We have been struggling since millions of lifetimes also. Okay. Because of some good karmas we had, because of some mercy from some great soul, we are able to get this knowledge, and we are very very lucky on that. I mean, think about it, right? I mean, if I actually advertise that, oh, we are going to watch a movie or something, so many people would be interested, or something like that, right? I mean, if I say I want to talk about Bhagavad Gita, there won't be many people. I mean, in the group, the WhatsApp group that we are in, maybe there are 50, 60 people, right? And we actually, there are some 10 people who are right now here, right? There were 15 plus people in the beginning of the session. I've never seen 40 people joining, right? Out of that group, right? Why is that so? And it is because this knowledge is not accessible to everyone. Okay, you need to have a lot of pious karma to be able to access this knowledge also. Okay, we have done something good, and that's why our inclination is there in this direction. There is no other reason. And the God has
नरेंद्र
arranged for
जी,
this. Yes.
मुझे ना एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ याद आ गई है। तो हुआ क्या कि मैंने ये सेशन लेना शुरू किया, तो आई वाज़ रियली हैप्पी अबाउट इट, एंड आई I don't know why, but I was little bit boasting. So I was talking to my father-in-law, and actually पहले ही मेरे पति ने उनको बता दिया, अरे आजकल ये गीता के सेशंस ले रही है, स्पिरिचुअलिज्म में वो हो गई है। तो I was talking to my father, तो मैंने थोड़ा सा I was trying to boast myself as an intelligent species, and I was like कि पापा what, हम जो भी आज मतलब होता है ना, वो सब हमारे कर्मास हैं। देन माय फादर इन लॉ आस्क्ड मी, यू टेल मी वन थिंग, मैंने भी बहुत पढ़ा है ये सब के बारे में, मैंने भी एक ग्रुप ज्वाइन किया हुआ है, लेकिन मेरे को ये नहीं समझ आता कि हमको जो लगता है कि अच्छे कर्म हैं, हो सकता है वो किसी के लिए वो बुरे कर्म हो, और जो हमारी हमारे तरफ से लाइक किसी और के लिए जो वही बुरे कर्म है वो किसी के लिए अच्छा हो रहा है, तो ये डिफाइन कौन करेगा कि अच्छे कर्मास क्या है और बुरे कर्मास क्या है, क्योंकि
There
हर
are
इंसान
only,
का अलग
yes,
अलग परसेप्शन।
correct. So we don't go by perception. That's why there are three ways to figure out whether something is right or wrong. Okay, and that tripod is called Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Okay, so if anything agrees with these three people, our Guru, a Sadhu is like a person who's elevated enough, right? And a Shastra. If these three agrees with something, it is right. In short, if something is recommended by Guru, that can be followed, unless we have doubt on the Guru itself. Okay, then we go to the other two things to make sure that what is right and what is wrong. But the point is, yes, that is the way to understand it. That is how we define absolutely. We don't go by emotions or feelings or anything. Oh, this is good or bad or whatever it is, right? Maybe see, you will say, "Arey, if a small child is crying, giving him some food is good, right? Because he's asking for a puri, I should give him the puri, and that is a good thing to do. But maybe that child has a fever, okay, and by giving puri to that child right now, maybe you are actually putting him in more trouble. Maybe that is not the right food that he should be having with fever, right? So of course this is not this is very relative, and that's why the scriptures and Guru should be followed like that. Okay, whatever is said should be done, and that is the right
पर
way.
हर पर हर कर्म करने से पहले हम गुरु से नहीं पूछ सकते या स्क्रिप्चर्स खोल के नहीं पढ़ सकते, मतलब जो हम रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में
हाँ,
चीजें करते हैं
that is
तो
why we have to practice under a guru, okay, and gradually get elevated, gradually understand what is right and what is wrong. It takes some time, and we will be able to figure out the general principles after some time. Okay, as I said, these are the general principles. If followed well, they are enough to elevate us. इसीलिए I was saying to Aarti ji that, oh, don't try to become a good person right now. Don't try to go into subtle things, because there are so many if else, this, that, whatever. This should I do? That should I do? Not, maybe, yes, no. At least start with the general basic things, and gradually you yourself, as you get purified, you will realize that you are able to understand what is right and what is wrong yourself. Okay, as you keep on reading scriptures, as you keep on associating with right people, keep on chanting, diet, engagement, that will actually take you higher on your own. Trust me.
तो मतलब जो अभी हम लोग की अंडरस्टैंडिंग है राइट और रॉन्ग को लेके, जैसे किसी को हमको दुखी नहीं करना चाहिए, किसी का दिल नहीं दुखाना चाहिए, किसी को कुछ बुरा नहीं बोलना चाहिए, डिसरिस्पेक्ट नहीं करना, ऑल दोज मॉरल थिंग्स, तो वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग अभी मतलब वो सब निरर्थक है, उनका कुछ अर्थ नहीं है, मतलब स्पिरिचुअलिज्म में नहीं है।
Somebody will say violence is good or violence is bad, right? Maybe it is bad, but if you see a girl being abused somewhere in the road, right? Should you use violence or not? Right? Maybe it is good, correct? These are principles which are subjective. We are talking about absolute frame of reference. Now, what is right and what is wrong? Tell me, right? So that can be understood only by having a proper frame of reference, which is like Guru and Shastra and Sadhu. They are like the people who can really tell us what is right and what is wrong. Right? And sometimes, yes, it is subjective, but they are people who have realized, who have seen enough, so they can guide us at the right moment. We don't need to go to them every time, right? Can I go to sleep? Can I eat my food and things like that? But as you actually practice, you'll be able to understand yourself, of course, when to sleep and when to eat food. But also the problem of life. Yes, we should actually, and that is why association helps. Because if you are associated with right set of people, they looking at them can teach you a lot of things. Okay, how do these people live their life? How come they are happy? Are they happy or not? I mean, you'll be able to see that obviously, right? Experience it. So the answer is,
अच्छा मान लीजिए अगर मेरे गुरु हैं कोई और वो मुझे कहते कि बड़ों की इज्जत करो, सपोज, ठीक है, लेकिन कोई ऐसा बड़ा है मेरी लाइफ में जिसने मुझे सिर्फ दुख ही दुख दिया हो, मतलब मुझे वो इंसान नहीं पसंद हो पर वो मुझसे बड़ा है, तो क्या मुझे उसकी रिस्पेक्ट करनी चाहिए? मैं कैसे कर पाऊंगी?
the point is that fictional questions have fictional answers. I mean, if you really want to ask this question to me and expect an answer, I would definitely like to understand the real problem. Okay, and then we can decide what is right and what is wrong. The answer could be also that yes, do not talk to them. They just get away from them, or whatever it could be, or it could be that you should respect, or whatever it is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the situation, so the answer may vary. Okay, I'm not talking about blanket statements here. Okay. Yes. Yes, Rajiv, please. So the point is that it depends. The answer depends. Okay. Sometimes in question problems, the answer depends. That's why I'm saying that we have to learn, and then when we struggle, we have to ask question. Okay, and then learn, and then practice, and things like that. And that is how you will get real questions, and that is how you will get real answers. Okay. And that is why spirituality is a process. It is not a solution. Like, it's a process to be followed, and it will elevate us. Arti, you have your hand up since something.
Okay.
Yeah, so my question is regarding those people. So what can we do to uplift them? Like you gave an example of offering prasad.
Yes.
I think that is very small thing. I mean, that all of us can do. So what else can we do to uplift such souls? Because they are where they are because of the lack of time, or because they don't have the means or the facility.
Yeah.
How can we help them?
Yeah, it's a good thought. But basically, the point, as I said, right, it has to start from ourselves. If we don't start from that point, we can get carried away, okay, into doing some things which are cheap, which are not going to help neither us nor them. For example, somebody will say, I could have said that, like, oh, just give them food, right? Give them money and things like that. That is not going to help them for long term. It may help them for that day. Yes, bro, you can. Yes, sure. So basically, it may help them for some time, but it will not last for long, right? It will after some time they will struggle, right? Next day they will not have food to eat. So that is going to happen. So the point is, they need something which can uplift them. I mean, for that we have to understand what is the right thing to do. Okay, we ourselves should be elevated enough. Without being in the ourself in the mode of goodness, we will not be able to help them. So the point is, yes, before helping, we have to help them, but we have to help ourselves. Like they say in the aeroplane, right? Put your mask first and then to your child. And that's what we have to think first. Okay. Prasad is not a small thing, by the way. I can tell you, it can transform people. I have seen people getting transformed just because of prasad. Nothing else, no other practice, but just by prasad they got purified.
Is
But
it just?
yes, just by prasad. Just I'm telling you. Yes, yes, please. Thank you, Sanjay. I mean, yeah, the session is over at 6:30. By the way, anytime feel free to leave. I mean, I'm not stopping anyone. It is just that question answer thing that we are doing. Yes. So yeah,
Thank you so
yes,
much.
yeah. But that, I'm telling you, I'm serious about it.
Yeah,
Only
yeah,
prasad
I get your
can
point.
actually purify. Yeah.
No, that's absolutely true what you said. I mean, I totally get it and I understand it completely. That first you have to educate yourselves
Yeah.
first, and then you can work on others.
Yes, yes. It is a good feeling. That feeling comes for sure. I mean, that oh, I want to help others, but actually we don't even know what is right and wrong, and that is the difference between a food and prasad. By the way, and it's a huge difference of sky and earth kind of difference. Okay, this is not ordinary food. I mean, the prasad is not ordinary food. Okay, uh, so these are. I mean, we'll talk about it next time. I mean, there's no difference between God, His name, His pastimes, and things like that. There is no difference pretty much. Okay. So
तो
anything
क्या प्रसाद भी हमको सही जगह से सही लोगों से लेना चाहिए? क्या प्रसाद के लिए भी ऐसा कुछ है?
prasad का सिर्फ एक सिंपल सा डेफिनेशन है. Something which is offered to Vishnu is called prasad. Nothing else is called prasad. Okay. There is
ओके.
nothing else which is called prasad.
जैसे दादी नानी या मम्मी लोग कहती थी नहीं नहीं इनका दिया हुआ मत लो, उनका दिया हुआ मत लो, पता नहीं क्या करके दिए हैं.
हाँ हाँ.
तो
Prasad, see, prasad is simple. I mean, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, okay, what he says is, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayasati. Tadham Bhakti Rupahitam Ashnami Priyatatma. He says that, see, anything, okay, cooked with love, anything you can offer with love, if offered like that, I will accept bhakti out of it. Okay. And what are the remnants? They are called prasad. So the point is that it should be offered with love and devotion. If it is offered like that, then it so you yourself can offer. I mean, why think about all of that? I mean, you yourself can offer, and that's what I said. If you have a picture of Vishnu Krishna and just offer with love, okay. There are mantras. If you don't know mantras, it doesn't matter. Okay, just with love and devotion is good enough, and then eat it,
ओके.
and then give it to your husband also, and you will see that after a few years or maybe few months or few days, he will agree to listen to you on the spiritual matters. You will see that magic happening. I'm telling you. Okay. There is
Yes,
a
I'll
lot
definitely
that
do
a woman
that.
can do. Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, we should do that. I mean, if you have a picture of Krishna, just offer with love and devotion.
Yes, yes,
Pray that please
I
accept
have.
it. And when you are cooking, just cook with that feeling that yes, you are cooking for God. You're not cooking for yourself. I mean, that I want to eat this sweet, so I'm cooking it. But think like that. Okay, you're cooking it for God. I mean, with that feeling, with that love and devotion, offer it, and then you. Yeah, that is good. It's very, very powerful. I'm telling you. Okay, what else? I think anything else, or we are done?
I think we are done for today.
Yeah,
You have really been very patient.
Yeah, it's okay. We can talk. I mean, more.